hailing frequencies are open, and welcome to Shield of Tomorrow, the normally Star Trek RPG show here on Geek and Sundry Live. But today is very special because we are revisiting our roots and going back to a crossover episode. We're bringing back Doctor Who today. So it's good to have everybody back. Welcome back, Taliesin Jaffe, and of course, Jody Hauser. Welcome back to the gaming table, Jody.
Reading my notes.
Real quick, Jody, what have you been up to? Since
writing
TBD.
a few comics. I'm currently working on a Doctor Who comic.
You're writing the Doctor Who comic.
Doctor Who is a woman, but I'm also getting to play with some of the other doctors before that in a series called Road to the 13th Doctor.
So Jody's been achieving while we've been playing our games.
You guys, it's not like you guys aren't doing anything.
We don't exist
I have no
outside
problem.
No. Number of Doctor Who comics
I blip out of existence once the camera stopped rolling.
Yeah.
Did you not notice?
I managed to convince Gina to get Monty Cook to come and do starter kit, so I consider that a win. I've been doing all right. It'll be interesting today. So we're diving back into this. So to give everybody a quick background as to why this is happening. During our charity stream during the anniversary for Geek and Sundry Live, we had literally in the last 2 minutes, we saw a message on the chat, and someone said if we hit our goal, I think it was 8K is what we were aiming for. If we hit our goal of 8K, then could we have a Shield of Tomorrow Doctor Who crossover with our old TBD characters? We go ahead and announcement because mostly Taliesin jumped in and said I would totally do that, and Jody said I would totally do that.
Yeah, we just happened to be in the back there, which was nice.
And 2 minutes later, we hit 10K. So that amazing whopper did take place. So we are doing our crossover episode today.
And thank you to everyone who donated.
Yes, thank you to everybody who's making this possible. Today will be full of whimsy and gaming, and it'll be fun. So there's that announcement. The other announcement too, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and say this because it's kind of the cat's out of the bag with this. Apparently Zazrit has been spotted in Star Trek Online.
Oh my god. We all blood.
Did you hear about this? Okay, so I get to tell Gina.
I'll show you.
So the guys at Star Trek Online didn't tell me they were doing this, but Sax gave them my account name, and they went into my account and found Zazrit, who I made like 5 or 6 years ago on Star Trek Online. And they took one of his costume models, and they made Zazrit and put him on DS9. He is a weapons dealer, I believe, on DS9.
Stupid sexy me!
And he says the word "stupid sexy me" when you approach him. It is not a joke.
It's so good. I'm so happy.
Wow.
Art imitates art.
It's amazing. So yes, so thank you, Hector, for coining that, and Zazrit lives. We're gonna get a T-shirt. Hashtag Zazrit lives.
I just want a shirt that says "Stupid Sexy Me."
Yeah.
I would wear that shirt.
That's pretty good.
Greatest hit.
I know. He just randomly, and you know what's funny is in context, he's literally just sitting there in the corner saying that to himself.
Stupid Sexy Me.
Like, whether anybody's talking to him or not.
That be all of us. He's thinking to himself he's like, you know what you've done. You know what you've done, Zazrit.
Damn.
Stupid sexy.
Ever stand in a corner to sell weapons and sometimes you're just like, damn. I'm a sexy motherfucker.
I look like
Stupid sexy me.
So that'll be coming out. It's not launching. It's on the test server right now, but it will be coming out soon. You can now find Zazrit on DS9.
That's amazing.
So with the new expansion coming out for Star Trek Online. So thank you guys. Quick tie into that. Real quick, a quick explanation as to what's happening with the giveaways. So you'll notice the last episode, once again, I did not announce the giveaways. Last episode was actually kind of on purpose though, because of the new rules with our giveaways, and because we're actually following the law now, the rules with the giveaways, we can't really announce winners until we get the winner names. So not everybody had responded, so we were holding off, and then we announced them afterwards, like the winners were reached out to. So that's why that didn't happen. I probably should have told you guys that, but we had some guy with blue hair drop in at the last second. We were all kind of excited, so as that happens. I know. I guess y'all are going to have to fight. There's a lot of blue at the table. And I believe that's it. I believe that's it for announcements. It'll be interesting to watch Taliesin try to drop Molly Mock and bring back the master.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
For your accent. There's only
We've been having accent practice.
Yeah, this will be interesting. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and just launch into tonight's episode of Shield of Tomorrow. So the roof of your mouth takes 2 points of damage from the hot pizza, and you have to.
But I'm excited, okay? I'm excited.
All right, so I guess to just shrug off the damage. All right, well, good game, everybody. That was good. Thanks for watching.
We learned a lot.
Thanks for
10
watching.
story points to start over.
Burn, reset the universe.
Reset the universe.
Oh, thank you for
Again.
watching Pizza, Jabba the Hutt.
No, it's good. No real close to mouth is fine.
Yeah. Oh man, there's gonna be a lot of Sonic Screwdriver playing.
Large Sage
that could
wants
be
to break them apart and figure out how they work.
You guys ready to jump in?
Yes.
So much.
The last episode, the crew of the USS Sally Ride found themselves in an ever-deepening conspiracy. You guys had figured out that Chukai was at the center of the conspiracy on Narendra Station, that Chukai was, in fact, linked to House Duras and was trying to get a bridge to the Romulans so that he could supply them with stolen Borg technology that he had located somewhere in the Shackleton Expanse. You guys did manage to find out where that technology was coming from, or at least where it was discovered on one of these planets. It has been documented in the past that Borg crash sites have been discovered, so it's possible they came across a Borg crash site, but right now it's kind of up in the air. It's not foremost on everybody's mind, because what you also discovered as ways of trying to either distract or get off the station, now that he's aware that. And he probably realized years ago that eventually he was going to be found out, and he has a little safeguard in place. He planted a bomb, an isolytic weapon, near the core of Narendra Station, an illegal weapon. Every major government has outlawed this weapon because of the damage that it does to subspace and because of how predictable it is. As again, if you need a reference point, watch Star Trek Insurrection. They use it in the Briar Patch. It almost destroys the Enterprise. It's very bad. One of these isolytic warheads has been attached some time ago to the bottom of the core area in Narendra Station. When you guys uncovered this through a scan, you were going to go down there and try to disarm that, but not before there was an explosion of chronoton particles, which caused a ripple effect, freezing Narendra Station, most of Narendra Station in place, including our beloved Captain Martinez, who is now frozen on the bridge. What's that?
That's the pip.
That's the pip. Yes, there is a pip frozen right next to Martinez's head as a little bit of a science experiment to see exactly what the aura of that time freeze is. You have managed to be able to isolate the chronoton particles so you can see them and actually dodge those pockets so you don't have like moments of dizziness that happen when you're stepping through pockets of time that's being displaced. You managed to get on board Narendra Station and journey down into the bowels where the engines and the essentially where the power is located, the engine room of Narendra Station, the core area. Upon arriving, you discovered that the allies of House Duras are making their move. Whether they were tipped off or not, or perhaps Chukai has been listening in, it's hard to say, but he's pulled the trigger on this, and there is essentially a small little civil war taking place right now in Narendra Station. However, it's not as big as you might have thought it would have been, because right now most of everyone is frozen. When you arrived in the core area, you found a lot of Klingons in mid-freeze, dead, or dying, or in the case of that one Klingon, literally frozen in air with a trail of blood hanging off of him as he flew down to what would be his death. I say flew, but that's Galaxy. That's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for falling. So it's been, to say that it's chaotic and mind-bending is kind of an understatement. You've been dodging pockets of time as you're running through these corridors and fighting Klingons. You've been running straight into the combat zone to try to get to this warhead and disarm it, and the chronotons have been getting worse and worse as you get there. Upon arriving, you managed to secure a perimeter, and as you were holding down the perimeter, Mallorin bravely pulled it together and stuck her nose into this isolytic warhead to try to disarm it.
And it blew up in my face.
You discovered two things. You discovered that time is not functioning properly. The timer on the warhead kept running up and then running back down, then running back down even more, then running up way more. This bomb could have gone off at any second. Any moment it hit zero, it could have popped. Just as the stress is becoming overwhelming, it popped. But it did not have the effect anyone was expecting. Everyone was expecting a subspace rift to open up and basically cause Narendra Station to implode, or at least the very bottom of Narendra Station to be destroyed. What actually ended up happening is a brilliant white flash of light ripped a hole in space-time and stepping through like a poltergeist, stepping out of this white light, came the Master with a mallet hoisted up onto his shoulder. And after a few quick words of exchange, the Master then turned around and, using the mallet, literally beat the rupture in space-time out of existence. Ripples of time energy flowed outwards, and he smashed this thing after he rotated it over to his thing, the side of the mallet that said brunch, and smashed this ripple and this rip, and it closed. Chronotons got sucked back in, and that's where we start off today's episode. All around you, the chaos is still frozen. In fact, what you've noticed is when he rotated that mallet and smashed it against the rip, that ripple effect, you watch some of the Klingons that were not frozen freeze in mid-shot. The ones that are closest to the warhead, you guys, seem to be unaffected. But the ripple outward from that initial impact of that hammer, it looks like the energy's flowing off of that hammer, which, by the way, anybody, I would say Talon, being that you had your eyes on the tricorder monitoring the chronoton field so everyone can get through them, they went off the charts. Whatever that simple hammer is, warped space-time on a level that no technology you've ever seen has accomplished this kind of a feat.
That is highly illogical.
It completely, it gave the laws of physics the finger. The hammer basically, for that split second in time, the hammer told the universe what to do. And it reversed and sealed it up. And again, the splash effect seems to have kept everyone cognizant and mobile, but your Klingon allies who are engaged in the fight with the Doros, everything looks frozen now. And there's this silence, this eerie silence that could only exist in a room where literally nothing is happening. Even though you are frozen, all around you is frozen the signs of chaos and death and glorious combat. And then the flicker of that temporal wake vanishing from existence, and a grinning hoodlum from the UK, as I described him last episode, standing before all of you.
What was that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't bring that with me. Who puts a bomb on a warp core? That just seems irresponsible.
Quite so. So, how?
And
Who? And what is that? Can I see your mallet?
Talon starts scanning the mallet.
Okay.
Can I do a scan?
Yes. Make your scan. It's a reason science check. Difficulty here is 1.
Okay.
And we're off to the races.
Well, I succeeded.
But I got some
also
threat.
got a complication.
Yeah, competition.
I swat the tricorder out of the way. Not without dinner first. Now, 25th century, 24th century, what is this? I'm gonna just lick a few things, knock it around.
You're tasting tritanium, various sort of metals that, at least in the universe that you're familiar with, that mankind and humankind rather becomes familiar with and actually starts to use later in their technology. You would say, based off of the taste and off of the scoring from the rupture in space-time, you'd say 24th century.
24th century. That'll do. I'm gonna need a place to sleep for a little while. Probably just figure a few things out. I will require a room. I'll require some food of some kind. Whatever you've got, I'm not too picky. It's the Master, by the way.
Have you got a name?
The Master. First name, thee.
What sort of naming convention is that?
Do you not really... It's the 24th century. I thought I would have done more by now. All right. Have any of you ever met a Time Lord before?
Oh, what?
Am I being laughed at by a blue doctor? A Time Lord. But this is very... Where's the Corsair? This has got to be around somewhere. I'm just going to start knocking on things. Corsair! Corsair!
I wouldn't touch that.
We do.
Corsair!
There's no one here named.
As you're knocking on it, you're actually, I would say, make a roll. 2d20. 2d20. Anything you roll below, what does your sheet say? If you roll below
15 or lower.
15 or lower?
I roll 1 below, and yeah.
Okay. So the difficulty here is 1. So you got 1 success. Is that what you got? Okay. You actually, as you're knocking on the different sort of bulkheads, you kind of move past a Klingon that's got a sneer on his face, drool like literally frozen in midair as he's firing a disruptor. You knock on its head. There's a small ripple of chronotonic energy coming off of him.
Don't touch them.
It actually does cause what you immediately perceive to be a very dangerous aura of chronoton energies. And as you're looking at your hand, Master, you see that your finger looks like it fluctuates for a second. And it looks like you're just kind of staring at your fingerprints, so to speak, and you see a fluctuation, almost like the tip of your finger just aged real quick. And then it sort of, you see a small, very familiar yellow glow, and it reverts back.
What did you people do? Gotta get a man in here.
You are...
What?
You find that you are actually very close to another thinning of the universe in one of these bulkheads that's close by.
There's a problem around here. Let's see. Who's feeling brave?
Rue steps up.
You!
Points at Sage. Rue steps up, points at Sage.
Okay.
I'm going to push Sage towards the temporal anomaly. See what happens.
Who's close? Who can?
I'm with you. It's just going to be fine.
And so it begins. Everybody at the table leaping. No!
Am I gonna be turned into a grandmother?
Don't touch my little bird.
So you can spend story points. We can roll. It's up to you.
I'll spend a story point.
Okay. I would say to do this, to get away with this, I would just say 1 story point.
Bye, guys. It's been great.
In a completely unpredictable fashion that no one was anticipating, this man suddenly grabs Sage and jerks Sage towards this, what he's
Jordan, right?
claiming is a temporal anomaly. In that instant, Talon, you do detect that there is a disruption where he's about to shove her up near the wall, but it didn't look particularly meaningful compared to the other ones you found. However, he does take Sage and shove her into this area of effect. You all watch as Sage, you stumble and Master, you watch in wonderment. Nothing happens to Lark Sage. Nothing happens to Lark Sage. You don't see any kind of chronotonic reaction to her at all. Whatever anomaly is affecting this area is not affecting her.
Sage, are you okay? I run for Sage. I grab her and start scanning.
I like you. You'll be my new assistant. Doctor.
You will not touch her. What?
What were you trying to achieve by assaulting our engineer or helmswoman?
I'm a lot
Is that
of
what
things.
you're calling your temporal anomalies, helmswoman?
No. What?
I was trying to assault the temporal anomaly here. I'm gonna
All
hit it
right,
with my
that's
head.
quite enough of assault altogether. So clearly you're some future inhabitant violating the temporal directive. Do you want to maybe give us some details on that before you go shoving my ensigns?
Linear people, fine. There's a little bit of a breakdown with time right now. I was just hiding in what I thought was going to be a pretty reasonable pocket of time for a little bit, waiting for a bit of a wave to blow over with a couple of friends. I'm sure you would like them more than you like me. And
You have friends?
I have acquaintances. And things got a little weird in here. Apparently you have something going on. This was not... I was expecting to have a nice meal, take a nap, go back to my own personal Sentry. This is a bit ridiculous. I'm gonna try and scan it again.
Okay. I would say, I'll give you the choice again, story point, or you can make a roll. All right, so difficulty here is on 2, so roll 2d20. If you roll 15 or lower, you got successes. If you roll 5 or lower, you get 2 successes. It's critical.
3 successes.
Oh, 3 successes. Okay.
Do we have momentum? Is this that how it's working this time?
Yes. Tell you what.
Thank frack.
I was like, sorry.
Tell you what. To build that old party cohesion, yes, you can have one momentum from that.
Thank you.
Difficulty was 2. So you pull out your Sonic. As you're scanning it, a lot of interesting readings are coming back. Apparently, what you're seeing in your Sonic is this universe that you're in has actually been in proximity to the universe that you were coming from for some time. This kind of coincides with the idea that sometimes universes, like planets on an elliptical rotation or rather orbit, will sometimes pass closer to each other than others. And it would appear, just so happens that this particular universe, during the Rassilon event, seems to have been passing by. And so it literally bridged. You were able to bridge the universes when you ripped that hole, which also means that there are some points where that universe could be accessed. But as you're scanning it, Master, what you're getting also is that it may have been a one-way trip.
Let it never be said I'm not a team player. I'm going to display as much of this information as possible.
Okay, a technical display pops up in a holographic format just out of the device that he's holding.
Sage is looking at that device.
It is in a language it is in a language you have never seen. You're seeing circles, lines. Essentially, your characters are seeing Gallifreyan script for the first time ever. It looks beautiful and completely unrecognizable. There's a complexity to the writing that just from scanning Talon, I'll tell you straight up, your universal translators in the tricorder, it cannot understand what it's seeing. Also, real quick, Throlo, you did scan. You ran up to Sage and scanned Sage. Sage seems completely fine. I won't even make you roll for it. Sage seems like Sage was a few minutes ago.
You're all right. No thanks to this one.
No wrinkles?
Just the normal ones.
Okay.
The conclusion here, then, Master, is you could possibly poke another hole and link this universe, but you don't know if you'll be able to get through. You might be able to get someone else through, but you could definitely try to get yourself through. You're not sure.
There was someone behind me when I came through, right?
No, you were behind others. You were the last thing that was happening was everybody froze.
Ah, yeah.
You remember seeing an old man and the 10th Doctor having a conversation with your doctor, and everyone around you was frozen, and you pretended to be frozen with them. You listened to the whole conversation, and while this was happening, you pulled out your Sonic and slipped away.
I don't think I can fix this by myself.
Mr. We cannot read this.
What language is this?
Oh, this is Gallifreyan. Hold on. Let's see. There's got to be something in here you can. It auto sets to Klingon. Hold on.
You see it translate out immediately into Federation Standard, and you're able to read Talon. The readings that are appearing before you in this holographic representation of the scan. Whatever device he's holding has scanning power equal to or greater than the scanning suite on the Sally Ride. This handheld device is capable you're seeing temporal readings. This little device is capable of scanning into the depths of the molecular structure and as well as the chronotonic fields and data readouts that would take years to process on board the most advanced Federation starships.
I would like one of those.
You're reading technical data.
I would like to look inside of one of those.
Let's put it this way, Talon. You're seeing the data connect the dots between temporal disturbances and open up your mind to possibilities that you hadn't considered before. Answers to equations and assumptions that haven't been figured out or even discovered yet.
We should not be looking at this.
I agree.
Sage, no.
He just hands it to Sage.
We must
okay,
be careful not to. Excuse me.
Sage, you take it.
Oh!
Companion gets to touch the toys.
I don't know what this companion means, but we are all under an order from Starfleet and the Federation to not disturb the temporal timeline.
Sage, what would you like to do with it?
Mala is so jealous right now.
I'm trying. My
Trust me,
brain's
you're
trying
not
to tell
jealous
me.
of Mala right now.
Like, without actually physically taking it apart, I'm trying to see, like, what components are holding it together.
So you want to know what it's made at?
Yes.
Okay, with that thought, you see it spark light up and you see a blueprint to the sonic screwdriver appear in front of you.
Oh, hey, can I grab it from her? Like, would that be you?
No. Okay,
I'm not looking.
The answer is yes. Does Sage want to resist, or does Talon grab it from her?
I'm holding on to it pretty tight. But you are broken. I'm broken. We might
As
break
Jackson
it in
would
half.
say, you are now in combat with Sage's hand.
Is this a fitness roll? Because you're gonna win.
Yes, this would be a fitness security check.
Stage, I'm next.
We're all fighting over it.
Okay.
I will fight you all
Look,
so that we
okay, I tell you what, to keep this from descending into pure chaos, why don't we say that the 3 science and
I'll keep
engineer
that
inclined
roll.
people immediately lunge at the sonic screwdriver. Rue, you're watching a breakdown in discipline as you see the 3
I
of
just
them.
rolled really well, so bring it.
This is going to resolve differently than someone who grabs it.
Okay.
Okay, so don't roll.
Am I rolling?
No, I'm going to say you all are grab.
Okay.
If you're not
okay.
releasing it, all of you essentially grab at the sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
Master, you turn around and you see these 3. No, just let me see it for like.
Wait.
No, you shouldn't be using
wait,
that. Like,
This is not.
I just want to see what it's made of.
I will have order.
I just hand it back to him. Mr. The.
You've all changed position. Which one was my companion again? You all look so small. Really?
Your companion.
All
right.
I'm gonna need some sort of identifier. You're all dressed too similarly. I'm going to change the outfit. Do I have to roll or?
no,
right.
spend 1 story point.
Now you look like a companion.
All right.
Just so everyone knows, this is what I'll be wearing later tonight in another show. But I guess you get to see it too.
So there she stands.
Much better. Whoa! I'm gonna need a room and some food. Does anybody have some food?
We have a temporal disaster on our hands.
This is true. We're going to need tea,
Just like
food in a
covering
room.
her.
Tea, food in a room.
He going to get this resolved.
Tea is absolutely going to get this resolved.
Do you like cream soda?
What's cream soda?
All right, we're gonna
Shall
make
we-
our way back to
Okay.
Sally Ride and try to develop a home base because none of us can address this problem right now.
We'll do a cut to then.
Yep.
So here's what you discover making your way back to the Sally Ride, who's still in dock. As y'all are moving through Narendra Station, what you're discovering is that final ripple effect has frozen everyone. Everyone else that you've that was still moving, everyone seems to be still and
But we're
frozen
not
in time.
freezing by going into the aura now.
What's
Which is
that?
the big difference.
Yes.
We're not
No one seems. In fact, I would say you're not detecting those anomalies anymore. And as you move through the corridors, you're having to move around these people. What you're noticing is you don't really have an effect unless you touch them, because they are still kind of encased in this chronoton, sort of like a field. That's kind of it's literally like, think of it like an embryonic like field or whatever you want to call it, like that. It's literally, it's like paper thin. It's surrounding them and freezing them in time. It takes some navigating to get through these corridors where people were in mid-run or knife fight. When you get to the turbo lift, it does not function. It looks like the computer itself is frozen. This segues into you all having to get into good old Jeffrey's tubes. And it is a long
Follow me.
climb. Rue,
Yep.
in all honesty, considering the circumstances, you probably have an easier time of this than most. As
It's a lot of pull-ups, but
Janelle's,
I
yeah, I
can
was
do a
gonna
lot
say,
of pull-ups.
Janelle's.
My favorite thing is when the junior officers think they can hide from me in the Jeffries tubes. It's so cute.
It is a climb, but you guys managed to make it back up to the promenade in about an hour, I would say, of time passage. When you move one of the bulkheads out of the way and climbing up out of the Jeffries tube, everyone's a little winded, and as you're all kind of pulling yourselves up onto the ground, helping each other out of the Jeffries tube, it's kind of like the scene in Ghostbusters. Only 40 more floors. So as y'all pull yourselves out, you're looking around, and an eerie sight. Narendra Station is at red alert, but everyone is here frozen as well. But what really draws your eyes is what's happening outside the windows of the main promenade area that overlooks where you can normally see ships and dock. You still see the lower half of the hull of the Sally Ride and dock peacefully. But just beyond her, about maybe 60 or 70,000 kilometers out, you see explosions and beams. It doesn't take much to surmise that the battle that you heard about is frozen as well, because you're looking at phaser strikes and plasma beams. Upon closer inspection, as y'all approach the windows, you actually see something you were not expecting. You see the USS Dauntless has pulled out of dock and has engaged 2 Klingon Cavort class birds of prey in battle. It looks like, judging from the state of the promenade, it looks like the ranger station has taken a few hits, which would account for the rumbling you all heard. The Dauntless is in bad shape. She's gotten smacked up pretty good, probably because she was in dock when these things uncloaked and started opening fire. To their credit, to the captain's credit, it looks like UCAB managed to get the Dauntless out of dock and engage the Cavort class, but her right nacelle is chewed apart. She's not going to warp anytime soon. But what's more impressive is the odds look like they might be even, or maybe against the Cavort class, because about 30 to 45 kilometers at close range, just behind the 2 Cavorts, you see a Romulan warbird and a lance of plasmic energy striking one of the Cavort classes from behind, and it looks like it is a lethal strike because the back of that Cavort is peeling back in an explosion, and you can even make out the small forms of bodies being sucked into space. It looks like that Cavort is in the middle of being destroyed. Everyone else on the promenade is frozen in time, and everyone looks panicked. You even see Brug ducking like this as a Klingon is firing over Brug's shoulder at another Klingon who started to charge with a batleth. A lot of Starfleet personnel has been running, and as you're kind of looking around and moving back, everyone starts to make their way back to the port where they can go into the Sally Ride, and you all freeze at the sight of Lenzatis. He is in mid-run towards someone who looks like they're on the ground holding a wound, and Zadis is running towards him with a terrified look on his face, and he's frozen, solid.
How does he look?
He looks.
Okay? Is he wounded anywhere?
I would say this, particularly you, Lark. Zadis was doing everything he could to avoid all of this. So you're seeing in his eyes, you can only imagine what he must be going through. But you as well, Mala, you see in his eyes, he is somebody who's it's a snapshot of somebody who is on the edge, but is keeping it together because he sees somebody injured. And so it looks like he's throwing his focus into that. Mm-hmm. He looks like he's fine. He's got his toolkit, but it's trailing behind him in one hand, and he's completely focused on this young woman who's looking up at a Starfleet personnel and ensign, and he's rushing towards her. He seems fine otherwise. It doesn't look like any fire is directed in this direction, too. It looks like he just ran out of cover to come to the aid of these two.
Is everyone covered in the temporal?
It's not just everyone. What you're noticing, Mala, is it looks like the tech is also frozen in place.
Right.
It looks like there are some LCAR's computer readouts on the wall, and some of them are literally in that flicker of light when light is traveling, when like a sign is blinking. These lights were flashing red alert, and some of them look like they were just in the middle of a flare to flash red alert. Those moments happen in less than half a second.
Even the photons are frozen.
Everything is frozen. Everything is frozen except you guys.
The anomaly that he threw me in, is that everywhere, or was that just in one isolated place?
You'd have to ask him. But y'all move.
Where you are right now. But I want to know that.
Yeah.
You don't know. If the question comes up, you can totally ask. Otherwise, I'm going to move y'all into the Sally Ride. But given this new information, if you want to have a scene or ask questions, go ahead and do it now.
I would very much like to take the guns out of the hands of the people shooting them.
You can't touch them.
Let's not disturb that just yet.
We can't touch them.
We don't know what it'll do yet.
What if it restarts?
We have a lot of work to do when it does.
Thus, to be very careful what you touch.
When did you decide on that philosophy?
After I touched a few things.
I pat Sage. I'd like to declare, if it's cool with you, that I tried to check on you and help you through the Jeffries tubes.
Yes, actually, I was gonna say through the Jeffries tubes, there is so much. Like, this is the first time Sage has been in a Jeffrey tube where she has not hyperventilated because she is in shock and also like
And fabulous.
really sparkly and looking great.
Yeah.
She's like, man,
I was gonna
I'm
say,
going through
you-
these claustrophobia. Be damned.
I do have a question. I do have a question. Your new shoes? Do you? What shoes are you wearing?
Sensible flats.
Yes.
Come on, Master.
Very sensible.
Come on, Master, come through for us on this.
Converse.
Cons.
You know, I've seen
Converse.
enough chases through rock quarries that I'm probably, you know,
Okay.
Glitter Converse.
there's been enough rock quarries.
There's
in my
been some
past.
merciful.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. The. has
so
been
we're gonna
merciful.
move into the Sally Ride then.
Nala cannot stop
Mr.
staring.
Master.
And the other thing is that I will have leaned over to the commander at some point and went, whimsical gods?
Or something equally dangerous.
Agreed. Okay, that's it.
When you get back to the docking port, this of course is a physical port, a link up to the Sally Ride, so you can just walk on board. The doors are closed, and you see an ensign is cowered down behind the control panels to both open the door and activate the transporter room, which is also located here off on the side. And the ensign is on the ground, and it looks like they've just tapped their comm badges and in the middle of shouting something. Doors to the Sally Ride are closed.
I've got some portable time, but I want to make sure we use it properly.
You've got what?
I've just got a little time in my pocket, so.
Yeah, should we?
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go to open
I just
it.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We're not gonna be able to.
I'm
It's
joining.
gonna take a team
Remember,
effort.
I think we're all gonna have to do it.
Talon,
Yes,
we could use a hand.
of course. I'm right here.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you're probably.
Hey. As many of us. Takes more than one. Takes a
Okay.
crew.
Okay. It's going to be I'm just going to say, Rue, you're probably going to lead the charge on this one. So I'll let this be an assist.
Okay.
And
Oh man, we don't have momentum.
I will. Let's see. I'll flub the rules a little bit here. It's going to be difficulty here is going to be 4.
All right.
But I tell you what I'll do is I'll let you have an assist and I'll lower the difficulty by 1 to 3 because you've got 2 other people helping you. Throw, are you assisting as well?
If there's room, I'm the least.
Yeah, you can all pull on it.
Sure.
It's a big enough door. Okay.
We can all try.
Are you helping?
We're here for moral support.
Talon, you're helping as well?
Absolutely.
All right.
We're all gonna help.
I'm going to reduce the difficulty to 2 then.
All right.
Because you've got a Vulcan helping you.
I'm going to take the momentum for cautious, nonetheless.
Okay.
And do I get to use my athletics focus?
Yes. Yes.
It's the little things. It's the little things.
Oh, do we all?
Yeah, we all do all resisting.
What do we need?
What are we rolling?
It's security and fitness.
Who do you want rolls from?
Roll 1d. Everybody who's assisting, roll 1d20.
Great.
Yeah.
Security and fitness.
So who was helpful?
I tried to help and tripped.
So
And I got 4.
There's a long train.
okay.
Yeah,
so
I had
go
a
ahead
long
and fill out
train.
your.
My God.
Okay, so you guys are gonna be good there.
Yeah.
So.
All of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
5,
Okay,
yeah.
so y'all are pulling this thing open, and it's kind of it's having difficulty, and then you notice that Sage is having a lot of trouble getting like the right
My
grip.
nails, you guys, are so nice.
But then you watch Talon just go, and you see a little bit of the flex in the Vulcan's hands, and the door goes, slams open.
It's like a tuna can.
Yeah.
Anything weird happened temporally when that was going on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Would you like to roll? Or
I'll roll.
All right.
2 successes.
Okay, that's enough. So difficulty here is going to be moving forward. It's going to be 1 for you.
Yeah.
You scan. Interestingly enough, this is what your sonic reads. Everyone has just been infected with chronoton particles. Everybody who touched the door and pulled it open, your sonic is detecting a spark that's beginning to flow over the tops of their bodies.
What does that mean?
But not Sage and not Talon.
All right.
I don't know. this yet, right?
No.
Nope. Oh,
Nope.
he doesn't tell us anything. We're carrying
Does
on.
it do anything to us? Do we feel it? Do
You're
we
not
feel
feeling
a
anything
couple
now. You
rays?
just successfully opened the door.
You feel like
Okay.
you just pulled open a door.
yeah, you feel like, hey, teamwork.
we defeated a door like real hard.
How does that feel, Tal?
Together.
Yay, teamwork. be careful what you touch for a little while.
Is anyone. What?
Just be careful. Everything's a bit off.
Off.
Yeah, and I've got to try and get as many of you through this alive as possible. She'll be very upset with me if I let any of you go.
She?
What?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need help with this.
Okay.
This is a bit much.
Everyone else on the station is frozen. How are you getting this person to help?
I'm gonna need a cup of tea.
Providing food to whimsical gods.
The corridor to the Sally Ride is open. It's the engineering section where you see, immediately as the doors open, you see an ensign frozen on the other side of the door on the Sally Ride. Currently, just like looks like they had the tricorder up, and it looks like they were running a scan on the door.
Where's the nearest replicator?
Main engineering section. So you're actually not far from one.
What's
We
gonna
probably couldn't use it.
If it's frozen.
What's gonna happen to the door when
That's a very good question.
And?
That's a very good question.
All right.
Do I really look like I have all the answers here? Really?
Mr. Master?
Yes. Companion. Yeah.
Mr. Companion?
No, you're Mr. Companion.
I believe our replicators are frozen, so a cup of tea might be a little complicated, but I do have a secret stash of cream soda around if you prefer that.
We need some water. We have electronics.
I think I'm gonna need the tea.
If everything's frozen.
I'm gonna hit the
Alright.
replicator with the hammer.
Okay.
So as y'all are having this conversation, no, I think I'm gonna need some tea. Flips the hammer around where it says tea time on it. There is a tech, so there are replicators located throughout the Sally Ride. Most of them in the engineering section are used to replicate tools as needed. They can be modified to work to replicate food if necessary, because it's a replicator. You see, again, here inside the Sally Ride, the tech seems to have been compromised. Everything is frozen in place until the master walks up to one of these replicators and smack it.
That's not being careful.
As you smack it, you see a ripple of energy, and the computer goes.
English
online.
breakfast, lemon, no milk, no sugar.
You see it begin to replicate. This section of the replicator has been re-entered into this time frame. It is starting to realign already back into the time frame that it was in, but also it's not connected. All the computer systems that it's connected to are still in the other time frame. So the power that it gets lasts for about a fraction of a second, and you just watch tea spill out of the replicator and just drizzle down onto the floor. A cup was never replicated. It was just the liquid. It just kind of dribbles out.
The gods were too whimsical.
Well, that won't do.
And at that point, you all begin to feel very dizzy. It's
All
a
of us?
wave. Yeah. Well, not you two.
Okay.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Then
Even the doctor?
Yes. A wave of dizziness.
Didn't touch the door.
I did.
Yes, he did.
Yes,
Oh,
she
you did?
Yeah.
She did.
Oh.
Everyone touched, not everyone helped.
Oh.
I'm
I helped.
gonna take as many readings as humanly possible while this happens.
They're being claimed. They're being claimed by the timeline. It'll be a few moments, and they'll be frozen solid.
Are you okay?
Are you all right?
So just be temporary. I swear we're gonna fix this.
Who are you?
What is happening
His
to them?
voice starts to distort as you all begin to. I would say it all begins to come. You begin to have the realization as everything starts to slow down, and Throlo says, "Who are you?"
Why are they
And
frozen
then
now?
they are frozen, stiff, stopped in time.
It's getting worse. I'm going to try and tap the machine just with my body just to go try and get a little out of sync, and I'm going to try and excite the tannins and the tea to start making a little bit of chronal energy to maybe signal for help somewhere.
That's a story point spent.
Yep.
By the way, I'm gonna, and you can subtract this from what I'm about to call for, but as per the TBD RPG, I award story points for good role playing, and that's going to be happening a lot this session, I feel. So go ahead and gain a story point back. But you're basically causing a minor alteration in reality, and you're changing the story up a little bit. So I'm going to say 3 story points.
So 2 down now.
Yep. So just 2 story points. And you are essentially trying to cause a hole. You're trying
I'm trying to cause a hole.
Okay. So you tap it. Y'all are watching. You don't know what he's doing, but when he taps the T, you see the T ripple and then whoosh, freeze in the air and just sort of float like it's in 0G, and then it begins to congeal, and you see a spark.
We could use some help over here.
It starts to spark. There's a blinding flash of white light again, very similar to what you encountered in the warp core. And that ripple that you caused a second ago when you smashed it, you see that ripple appears again and kind of reverses. And the T, and literally dropping out of thin air. Describe yourself, Jody.
I think I described her originally as looking like she might be played by Helena Bonham Carter, wearing a very nice burgundy velvet sort of frock coat, a little bit piratey, has a very nasty looking pistol in her hand, and looks a little bewildered.
I'm gonna. What's your momentum pull at?
We're at 6, I think.
Are we? Because we had some from
Okay,
last
cool.
time. Oh no, we had.
I thought we filled up from that.
I think we filled up
assist.
from last time.
Okay, cool. I'm going to. This is unusual, but because of the dedication of my players to my right, I'm going to go ahead and reward you 3 momentum that you can spend at a later date.
Excellent.
Okay,
You can
so
pull
we're
that.
way filled up.
I'll just put this here.
Here, I have some.
So, Corsair, the last thing you remember is looking at the terrified, saddened face of the doctor reaching out to you as the grenades go off. And the device on your arm began to immediately spark, and you feel what it can best be described as being pulled out of your body. And then you flicker. There's a white tunnel of light, which you assumed must be a very unoriginal representation of death and somewhat
So cliche.
disappointing. And then the next thing you know, you collide heavily with what feels like carpeted styled flooring, like a punch to the jaw. You slam into the ground. It's rattles your senses for a second. As you hit the ground, you see the Corsair appear and hit the ground with a heavy thud and flicker for a few seconds. And you also notice a very familiar looking device on her arm that begins to spark and
No. I'm going to try and help get it off before anything bad happens to it.
Corsair, you feel someone tugging at you, but you're so disoriented, you're not really making out what's happening at the moment. And then as you come to, you get the thing free, it comes right off.
Don't shoot, you wanted it off.
What are you doing with it?
I'm going to... I don't know what to do with it.
It's seconds away from popping.
Oh God! I'm gonna throw it at the wall and hide.
So these seconds are pure chaos for the Corsair, because being pulled into another reality and flickering in and out of space-time from a detonation set off by the grenades that you use when you set off the TG device that caused you to replicate and drop those grenades, the pure chaos that takes place. I should have given a spoiler warning for TBG folks, but
Lots of things went boom.
Jody had a moment of glory where she basically used a temporal device to replicate versions of herself from different points in times, all of which had the same grenade that she was holding.
An implosion
She
grenade.
popped them all at the same time to get rid of an enemy. She literally replicated herself throughout time.
I killed like 12 people. No,
This is
the
Prime.
main.
This is Corsair Prime, yeah.
Corsair Prime.
There's an explosion, and again, the white light, except for this time, the rip in space-time sends everyone hurtling back against the bulkheads. Talon, Lark, the both of you slam into the bulkheads behind you. You're not sure what the hell this master guy is playing at, but he has just opened 2 rifts between universes, and it's caused a temporal explosion to take place. It sent you all hurtling through the air. When you collide with the ground, Corsair, it's enough to knock you back into your senses to realize you're somewhere that's not the vortex. You recognize the master's voice, and as you hit the ground, you also recognize, as the tear begins to close. And looking up, you see leaning to the side, up against the bulkhead, is a very large, completely out of place blue box with the words police written across it.
I hope you didn't just kill everybody.
I don't think you killed everybody.
It is.
Hello?
You see electrical energies playing off of it. It looks like, first of all, you two identified immediately. It is obviously the TARDIS. But you see the bolts of energy that are kind of, think of it like the DeLorean after it passed through time. This thing is kind of electrified.
I'm gonna scan. Well, because I have the sonic drill.
Okay, so as you're trying to get your bearings, this is all happened, and you kind of weakly, Corsair, you're looking up and start to scan, and as you're reaching up, time is frozen again.
Oh.
You guys are fine, but just to let you know, because I've described a completely chaotic moment, things settle. The lunacy seems to have come to an end for the moment, but there is what looks like an old Earth object in the middle of the engineering room here.
Well, that more or less worked.
As I get off the floor, all I say is, I am never drinking English breakfast, ever.
That was quite good tea, but
High tannins also, you can actually get a good corporate.
This is all I'm seeing.
So Corsair, having left that one moment and now being rocketed into this moment, none of this makes sense.
that's why I'm just like, what's going on here?
Yeah. You recognize the face of your old foe, and you kind of like scanning a little bit.
Slash travel buddy. I think we kind of patched up some stuff.
You're a
over
friend of me.
her. Yeah.
As you're kind of scanning, you are in a place of temporal disruption. That is the TARDIS. You have no idea what's happened. You were obviously pulled through time, but this doesn't look familiar at all. And to add to the disorientation, the door to the TARDIS opens.
Is there a doctor in? We have temporally locked creatures needing saving.
Is there a doctor in?
What were we just doing?
So.
Lark and Talon are so confused right now.
Yeah.
We were just like, can't be real.
This is my favorite.
It was literally moments after you had the realization. Moments after you had the realization that the master had slipped away and that the wounds are not going to heal until he is recovered, the TARDIS lurched violently and sent everyone crashing into the main console. You could tell from the readouts and the grinding sounds that she is being ripped out of the time vortex. And it only takes a few moments before you're rocketed once again, hurtling back towards the front door of the TARDIS as it lurches to the side. Judging from the feel and the way the TARDIS is landed, you can tell you're not flat because you're all kind of like leaning up against the wall. And the door just falls open and you hear, "Is there a doctor in there?"
Did somebody call for a doctor?
You see, kind of like Smith when he first regenerated, crawling out of a TARDIS that's laying on its at an angle. You managed to pull yourself up and describe yourself, Doctor.
Difficult to make an entrance at this sort of angle, but one tries. I am a woman in her 40s with blonde hair that comes to about here. By tremendous coincidence.
It is tremendous. Let us go ahead and address this fact. That when we saw Jody become the doctor.
Not me.
Not you. The other Jody. Miss Whitaker.
The other doctor. The other Jody. Yeah.
The Jody spells it wrong.
Yeah. When we saw her, we all kind of blew up because it almost looks like they took a snapshot of our doctor and decided.
We know that they didn't.
We know that they didn't.
She wears a green coat and otherwise looks like a human woman who just for some reason came out of an Earth police box at an angle on your spaceship.
That's not the weirdest thing we've seen today. Way to go.
Yeah.
Do you have a mallet too? Because I'm confused.
Mine looks a bit different.
What's shocking here, Doctor, is as you're pulling yourself out, kind of with a smile on your face, the jovial attitude is the crazy.
All right?
And then you spot the Corsair.
I think I'm
standing there staring at you.
Right, how come whenever that door opens, no one's ever calling for us?
Oh, you brought more of them.
Flying hug.
You launch yourself out of the TARDIS. You see the Doctor vanish suddenly behind out of the TARDIS.
That's not surprising.
That's very smart.
Right.
She lunges out of the TARDIS and throws her arms around someone. And for a second, as you, Roko, and Finn begin to pull yourselves out of the TARDIS, you see wrapped around. The Doctor has her arms wrapped around the Corsair, who, in your timeline, it would have been months ago. You swear you saw die, rescuing you all from Rassilon.
Yeah.
So,
You're alive.
the two of you would like to describe yourselves, because this is to both our audience who has never seen you guys before, and our two members of the Sally Ride who are still here.
Right, darling. Do you want to go first?
Hello. I'm a lizardy sort of Groot. Shaped like a saurian sort of person. Bit of a smiley gecko face. Lots of plantage all over me, and little flowers that are white with some red bits on them. And that's me. I'm Rekka. I'm dressed like a battle scholar. Whatever that means.
What a beautiful image. Right, and next to them, you see a quite tall, very thin but muscular Scottish woman with long, sort of unkept, braided red hair. She's got a few scars, and she's got on her arm, she's got sort of a teched out robotic sort of. It's not like the full arm, there's still a human arm underneath, but just sort of cybered out. A sleeve
Yeah.
sort of glove-like mechanism.
It looks like an enhancement that can be removed when needed, but it looks like a cybernetic enhancement to the to the arm.
Keep describing yourself forever.
Right, I'll keep going. Sort of a white, billowy sort of pirate shirt and a leather coat on top and some green pants.
So to paint the picture for y'all, it's been a few months since the battle with Rassilon. You managed to recover Cillian and discovered that Cillian had been protected by Cillian's essentially his infection, so to speak, of paradox energy was able to save him from the reversion of the timeline. It did have a minor effect. It sent him back to Earth, almost like the timeline had been trying to make sense of the fact that the Cillian of that universe had been dead, but it could only go so far, and Cillian has been able to make a life for himself in the universe that you're all coming from. But the mystery that you all have been trying to unravel is why some of the paradox wounds have not closed. Not all of them have closed. They have not been as big as they were when you initially encountered them, but there are here and there. And what you discovered, of course, is there's one missing piece to the puzzle. And that's what you see standing in front of you with a big shit-eating grin on his face, standing next to the Corsair with his mallet. Now, I want to point out again that this master is the one you left behind when you had your confrontation with Rassilon on the great tower of the Time Lords on Gallifrey. And he is not the old man that you originally encountered, which you expected to find. Instead, there he stands, just like you left him, and his mallet is hoisted up. There's also two Starfleet officers, not knowing what Starfleet is. One looks elven, almost, would be the best way to describe it, from the mythologies, and the other one looks like a young woman with a bit of a strange bridge on her nose. Both
And
looking
slightly overdressed.
and very slightly.
Great dress.
And of course, the surroundings, as I've described to everybody, Finn and Roko, y'all are starting to get the picture of what's happening here.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I also have a forearm tattoo, like a full sleeve of,
Plants.
sort of plants.
Okay.
I got it before I knew, it was just sort of there.
I like it
It's
took
quite
a second
stick
for
and
that to
poke
register,
and-
and then when it did, Sam started crying.
Before I found you again.
Not quite dead yet.
I got you everything you like. Living Time Lord, living creatures, big problem.
It is a bit of a normal Tuesday then, isn't it?
It's Christmas, Master.
So you.
Yeah, right.
So Talon,
Why is he?
they all seem to know each other.
Okay.
And they're all,
Can I
Wait.
they're all working outside
Thanks
of
for
time.
the snake.
Are you all Time Lords?
Some of us.
No, sort of cyber-human.
I have another question. What is a Time Lord, and can you fix this?
I remember when I asked that question.
That one that loves to answer these
Is
questions.
he dead?
Well, we thought it was all right, but some things have
Old
stayed.
business.
Hello, I'm the doctor.
There we are.
You are a doctor.
The doctor.
The doctor.
Yes, just the doctor.
And I'm the Corsair.
The Corsair. I am Lieutenant Commander Talon. I'm the Chief Science
Ooh,
Officer.
soldiers.
Hello, I'm Roku Coco, and this is Finn, Captain Finn.
Captain. Well,
Did you say science officer?
yes.
Funny soldiers.
We are not
Strangely
soldiers,
dressed
we are
soldiers.
Starfleet
Right.
officers.
Who are you, lass?
This wasn't my choice. I'm Ensign Lark Sage. Hi.
It should be your choice forever.
Thank you.
Wait, is this you? Did you do this?
I was trying to do what you do.
Did you
when
give her a choice?
Well, I needed a companion.
We've got plenty of outfits. You get to choose what to wear.
I like
What do you even do with it? It's very nice, thank you.
Okay,
Apparently, dress it.
so
in
is this
fabulous
not a
style.
Rassilon thing and not a master?
Yeah,
We haven't ruled that out, no.
So keep in mind, the Corsair does not know how that story ended. She has no idea what happened after she popped those grenades.
What's the last thing you remember?
Popping a bunch of grenades.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Thank you. I thought it was very. It
thought
was,
we'd
it was so
lost
much
you.
fun. I thought I'd lost me too, and then I just appeared here, and unless you're all also dead, and the afterlife is very sort of boring.
Grey, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are not dead. This is not the afterlife.
Okay, that's very good. So
Right, then why are all these people not moving?
yeah, it's,
That's something that we hope that you guys could help us with. We're kind of in a bit of a situation.
Right, where and when are we?
24th century, like, it looks like Las Vegas, I suppose.
It is not Las Vegas.
What's in Las Vegas?
This is the USS
Oh,
Stanley
you
Bryan.
have to go. It's
We are
so
in the
cool.
Shackleton Expanse.
Is that near Vegas?
is that something that sounds familiar to us?
Crosstalk warning. What's that?
Is Shackleton expands anything that makes sense to?
You know of the
us?
explorer Shackleton, but you're not aware of any stretch of space that was named after that human explorer.
Any windows in this room? Where are we?
Yes, but it's to the other engineering sections. You don't see
no space.
Well, there is so the doors are open and you can see into Narendra Station right now in the scene that I described. It's about a 60-foot walk from this airlock into Narendra Station.
So you're not soldiers.
We're
Starfleet.
What is Starfleet?
It is an organization. Well, it is part of the Federation, which is a cross-cultural organization. We are explorers, adventurers, and we keep the peace.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
That sounds like fun.
Are those guns?
They are
Phasers.
similar to guns, but they do not use firepower. They are laser.
They're still blasty. I don't like them.
We only use them if we need to, in self-defense or to protect someone.
Right. All right.
Can you help with this? This chronoton, we call them chronotons. They are time particles, I assume, as time lords. You all know, maybe you have a different word for that type of thing.
Oh, not very well on.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Did I do this by chance?
Oh no,
with
this,
all the-
I'm going to get
this started
you.
way before you.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll over to the ones that just got time locked, and I'm just gonna try and find something like some paint or something, so I can just mark the ones that were working before.
You leave them alone. What are you doing?
These are the ones that were actually these were not time locked until just recently. I just want
Paint
to
a
make sure I
mustache
don't.
on Rue. Do it.
Commander's not gonna like that.
It's just one with the dots and the sort of teal one in the
How many
suit.
story points do you have left?
2.
2. All right, so go ahead and get a story point back. instead of calling you, so this would be a prime example of like I spent a story point. Oh look, I had a marker in my pocket. But in this case, it's fine. So you managed to sift through that mini jacket of things and you mark them.
I won.
The moment you pull the marker away, it has dried completely, almost like it's been left out for days. Drop it.
Does that mean we're gonna freeze too? Are we gonna be time locked?
Yes, what caused their infection of chronoton?
Are you scanning them?
Yeah.
Okay, make a roll. Difficulty here's
Success 2.
2. Okay. curious.
Throw it to all the other Time Lords.
Okay.
I'll put it up.
Okay. Very curious. Their makeup, their genetic makeup, there's something in their genetic makeup that's actually keeping them out of step, 1 point out of step, and causing them to be unaffected by this shift in time.
Is it the same thing in both of them?
Yes.
You two related?
I don't think so.
We do not believe so.
Huh.
Well, I want to see something. Snap your fingers. That's so weird. It's just tiny little fraction off. Off.
Can we understand what's on the display?
No, it's in Gallifreyan.
Microsecond ahead, microsecond back.
It actually looks like they're stepping back and forth, and that's what's kind of keeping them.
We're just.
But it looks like it's. If you didn't know any better, you'd say it was by design somehow.
Almost like a little dance.
I wouldn't know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know how to do this?
That's quite nice, though.
Yeah.
Have you two messed with much time-wise? Are you both science officers?
No.
I'm more of an engineer.
Perhaps it's the messing around with things,
And
but that doesn't
pilot.
eat to your genetics.
They put a bomb on a warp core.
Oh, we didn't do that. That was not us. We definitely not no stuff.
Someone did. We know who did it.
We were trying to get rid of it.
Right, so what is happening here, and why is everyone frozen, and how long have you been here causing trouble?
3 hours, 22 minutes, 15 seconds, 16, 17, 18. You get the idea.
Is it one of those?
No, I walked into this. This is entirely not my doing.
It's only been 3 hours since the last time you saw us.
I just got here. It's been about 10 minutes since no, not even, like 4.5 minutes since I saw you.
Hi, I'm really glad you're alive.
I'm glad everyone's alive, especially myself.
How's the snake?
Doing great. It's a very nice
Why
reptile.
is you?
I was trying to hide from certain chronal effects of what was happening. Thought I would just slip it a few centuries away for a few minutes, let it roll over, and then sort of walked into all this.
Well, none of the holes are going to fix themselves until we put you lot back where you belong.
I tried fixing. I hit it with my hammer and everything.
He technically did save us. We were trying to disable the bomb, and it was in the process of exploding when he stepped through and kind of.
You undid trouble. You are turning over a new leaf.
We've got to get out of here.
No pun intended.
Pun taken.
Right.
I'm curious about what a time-locked mind feels like. Can I just, take a sweep around?
Spin a story point.
Absolutely. Let me know what I sense on the Sally ride,
The first thing
in terms of psychic presence.
Yeah, so the first thing you feel is there's a woman who's currently frozen in front of you who you immediately detect is also a psychic. Not nearly on the same scale as you, but has psychic potential and probably is empathic at the very least. She looks like she's being comforted by a very... I don't want to describe them as militaristic, but let's just say a militaristic...
It's not unfair.
Yeah, a militaristic officer with a shaved head. It's kind of leaning up against her and is trying to help her. There's also an unusual... there's an unusual alien that you've never seen before to her other side and is kind of very concerned look on her face, teal skin, and white hair and antenna coming up. Judging from the coat and the symbol on the coat, probably a medical doctor, and looks like genuine deep concern. Their minds, as you're reaching out, Rocco, the what you feel. So did you spend a story point? Mm-hmm. So what you feel is a little disorienting. It's like reaching out and touching a mind that is locked in one moment in time. So it's like it's like trying to grab a wet bar of soap. You're just kind of like, okay, and you're getting general impressions, but it's hard to lock it down. But from the woman in the middle who's being comforted, you sense that she must have been going through what was probably acute anxiety that just started to spike. And from the person to the right, the militaristic looking one, they look like they are you're getting kind of this cold, efficient crew member in distress like focus from them. However, the alien, the doctor looking creature, kind of feels like the Doctor. You feel this impulsive, put myself before others, like deep sense of must help, like, because what you also sense is the Doctor is actually going through the same symptoms this person is going through, and she's completely ignoring them to help this woman that looks like they're nervous.
Anything interesting?
These are nice people. There's one that's kind of like you, very blasty, and there's one that's kind of like you, and there's.
Like me how? Devastatingly handsome.
I mean, I kind of like that shade of the green.
Oh, that would be the fun one, and then that would be Dr. Blue over there.
How do you use the sticky bits to be blasty? I don't get it.
Trust me.
There's always ways.
They have a way.
Oh, all right.
And these are your comrades.
Time with
Yes.
a piece of wood I have.
Is there any way to unfreeze them or something?
And will that happen to us?
You two seem to be all right. You're sort of doing a little step back and forth past whatever's affecting everyone else. Not sure how.
Got a bit of a genetic similarity that's doing sort of a dance around time right now.
That's why I
It's
was
actually
asking if you were related.
quite lovely.
We both have a shared heritage. Perhaps it is because of that.
But there are other Bajorans on the ship. Does that mean that they're not affected as well?
Be worth checking.
We should make sure they don't touch anything they don't want to. Do you have ways to communicate with them?
Everything's frozen.
Everything is, yeah.
Right.
I'll use the hammer so many more times.
Is there any Bajorans in the vicinity nearby in engineering?
Not
You don't
engineering,
have, like-
but there are some on Narendra. There were some in the promenade.
But everyone was frozen that we saw.
Including the Bajorans?
Oh, okay, so
Nope.
we did have a shared experience recently,
But everyone was in the vision as well.
but not everyone has Bajoran heritage like us.
Talon breaking that science down.
I know. I don't do the science like you do. Do the do.
It is possible that because of this, this shared vision that we had with some type of entity, it may have given us what you were talking about, the genetic difference.
Like, you know, if you had a psychic connection to a TARDIS.
What's a TARDIS?
What is a TARDIS?
Everyone points.
Everyone just kind of casually points at
It's
That box.
almost like on cue, the box goes,
time and relative
rights
dimension
itself.
in space.
There we go.
the door just kind of
Gallifreyan.
flaps.
And Gallifrey, that is where you're from?
Yes.
Not us.
Just them.
Just the Time Lords.
I see. The Time Lords all seem to have that tool. I think we are learning.
Could Rassilon be here and doing this?
No, it's all right. It worked. Everything worked.
Grenades worked.
They were devastatingly effective, yes.
Good.
Brilliantly.
Okay, so
It's all right, but it should have all been put back, except he's here, and now we're all here, and we've got to fix it up a bit without anything happening to those terrified-looking people over there.
Very nice.
Shall we all step into the TARDIS, make ourselves comfortable for a moment?
How?
Would we all fit in that small box?
I'll wait outside.
There's a bigger you'll see.
So to keep moving, why don't we cut to inside the TARDIS? You guys have your moment where you step inside.
What do you say?
Now, to give you an idea, it does look like we decided it looked like Capaldi's TARDIS. Was that correct? Or was it Smith's?
They thought it was. We did a variation on Smith's, I think.
That's what I think too. So it is multi. It does have like the catwalk going across the top and bookshelves. So it's got a little bit of the Capaldi era because it's so rad the way he set it up, where it looks like a library as much as it is a traveling device.
But they're like
And
spiral ramps, right?
Yeah.
Walking
Also, we've
inside.
been tooling around for a couple months. She looks
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
You step inside.
There's a lot of hammocks.
This thing, Talon, just and Sage, being somebody who's loving the engineering aspect of what
Yeah.
you're seeing, this is a technological level that has peaked and gone beyond the understanding of any current species operating in the alpha, beta quadrants. You've never seen anything like this. It is past the point of making sense and entered into the realm of whimsy. is the best way to describe it. Because walking inside, this control panel that's in the center of the room and the core that looks like it's activating is unlike anything you've ever seen. The same Gallifreyan script that you noticed is written across one of the core areas above the TARDIS. It looks like it's slowly rotating. And you see bookshelves and paraphernalia from periods in history and alien races you've never heard of or seen before. And as you all walk in, the door closes behind y'all, and you're inside the TARDIS.
Mine looked like a pirate ship.
I liked yours.
Me too.
I stashed some stuff. I'll be right back. And I go running off and down one of the hallways.
I did too, and I do the same thing.
The swimming pool moved.
All right, you guys run.
Yeah.
I'll come back pretty quickly with a bottle of. What does
What's
that
that?
mean?
Logic? Do you not know what logic is?
Well, it's perfectly logical.
How is this logical? We just stepped into a box and this was a portal. This must have been a portal.
Right, and everyone outside is frozen in time, so I'm pretty sure it's all just
might be time to revise your rules.
Well, time has logic to it, and to pause time scientifically is possible, but it is all right.
You said this is like a ship? This is a ship?
A bit.
How does it fly? Does it fly? How does it fly?
all those buttons.
I immediately run to the thing. I'm not going to touch it, but like...
Yeah.
Lark, it doesn't make sense. A lot of these buttons look like they could have been pulled off of an old rotary phone.
Okay.
So you're actually seeing like dials and whatnot. I mean, it looks so analog, but the way it is portrayed as you're looking at it, the way it's hooked up, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't care.
The LCAR system seems to be a lot more technologically advanced.
I want to fly the thing. I want to do the thing.
That explains the love of the outfits. I have a friend named Jack. He would love you.
Oh boy. Doctor, that would be quite a dangerous meeting right now.
So what are you guys doing? Everybody's frozen outside.
Let's see what we can find out. I'd love to scan this general area for time anomalies and where they're stronger or weaker, if it's localized to wherever we are right now, where we are right now.
Okay, go ahead and make a scan. You're using the TARDIS,
Yes,
so I'm going to give you a
please.
big assist. Let's go ahead and make a roll. I'm going to set the difficulty at 3.
Science officer, perhaps you could give me a hand?
I can attempt to. What can I do?
You could use your
we feel
tricorder.
pretty useless right now.
I feel like a Neanderthal.
It's all right. We always feel that way around the Time Lords. They kind of encourage it. It's not.
Some Neanderthals are quite nice too.
Okay, so let's. So you can use your tricorder.
Okay.
And your tricorder can actually speak to the TARDIS. You guys can like link that up.
Okay.
So,
Oh, is that a scanner? Oh, it's nice.
So, yes, Doctor, I would say that you see Talon, the tricorder folds open. It's very advanced technology. Your estimation from the tech that you're seeing, this is probably tech level 7 or 8. So this is about when humankind was entering sort of the spacefaring era, or the time-faring era. Definitely not in your universe, though. You've never seen it quite like this. We're going a little bit off of the comics here, making our own thing, but yeah.
Can I tell what level they are? Like just roughly how far advanced they are from us?
You get the impression that as your tricorder is linking up, and the interface comes up, you see an immediate link. Despite the alien differences between the two pieces of technology, the TARDIS completely adapts, and you link up to the TARDIS. And you see Gallifreyan's script appearing on one of your data reads, and it doesn't make any sense. Judging from what Talon has seen thus far and the interactions you've had with the tech, this is beyond. This is either this level of technology. The Federation might reach it in maybe 1,000 years. Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. But it's the tech level is extraordinary. It surpasses anything you've read or seen of the Borg tech. This is literally the most technologically advanced stuff you've seen. And again, it's comical looking because it's all looking analog and kind of like somebody found pieces and hammered them together and now it works. So the tricorder links up. Go ahead and make your roll, Doctor. Did you already make a roll?
And I assist with that thing?
Yeah. So difficulty, I'm gonna put it at 3.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you got your character sheet.
I run to the books and look for a flight manual.
Okay.
I know there's probably not going to be one, but
Reason science for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh!
Yeah.
oh. Do you need to burn some momentum?
No, this is so good.
I may have infected all of you.
Oh no! What was the difficulty?
I know it is.
Difficulty was 3.
I'm sitting just
Remember, you can burn story points.
No, I guess.
Yes, but is it funnier to let you have this complication?
I'll let you decide.
And these are story point spends, right?
Yes.
All right.
Just to give you examples, yeah.
It's a bit early for complications, I think. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of momentum.
It's for.
Yeah, we have like 8 moments.
She's operating under a modified set of rules for the
just for
game.
us.
I can re-roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
She can't.
According to this.
Trust me, you're gonna want to say the
1 point,
momentum
take
for
half
you
damage,
and
1
Sage.
reroll on a d20 for
Yeah.
story point.
Fancy.
All right.
Well, all right. 2 successes.
2 successes, and what was the
Fantastic.
assist? And 1? Okay. So the TARDIS is actually having a little bit of difficulty scanning through some of the influx of chronoton particles here, as they call them. You're watching a lot of temporal energies that have frozen. Here's something that you've noticed, Doctor. The entirety of Narendra Station is... by the way, you're just now realizing you're on a ship that's docked to a station that is huge.
Right.
Massive, one might say. What you're detecting is all the life forms on that station, save for one, is frozen in time. You also detect that the space around Narendra Station, the space station, has completely frozen. And judging from the readings that you're getting, time outside the bubble is either passing rapidly or it has slowed. You're not sure from here. Whoa. But it's entirely possible that right now, Narendra Station and everything around it is frozen in time while the rest of the universe has moved forward.
Oh no.
And that's occurring to you as well, Talon.
This is us.
This isolytic bomb and the chronoton particles, all of it has just set off a chain reaction. It seems to have, what the doctor doesn't, the information the doctor doesn't have, and where you're getting the success for this roll, is it looks like the explosion set off a chain reaction around Narendra Station and caused previously the thinning of space-time where those anomalies in the Shackleton expanse exist. It looks like it set off a ripple effect around Narendra Station and activated a lot of these anomalies that were either dormant or would not have appeared at all. They've opened up and closed and opened up. It's like time itself is kind of coughing, or like it's choked a little bit around Narendra Station. So you're actually seeing that the star date on the station right now probably doesn't match the star date outside of this bubble.
Wow.
Doctor...
Just the doctor.
Oh, the doctor. It seems that some type of chain reaction is happening. You see...
I think I see it, but what's it based on? What was going on out here?
There was an explosion, and we call it an isolytic warhead.
Oh, sounds awful.
It is, and it's a very illegal weapon, and someone planted it. It went off. We tried to disengage it, but it still went, and Talon is sort of ranting as much as a Vulcan ever would, because there's just so much information she's trying to get it all out. This warhead went off, and I believe it is causing some type of chain reaction of other time-space anomalies in the area.
Oh, you've already
need your
got
help
them.
to get us back to our time.
Right, so...
I'm utterly incapable of doing anything here. I'm at your mercy.
You just interpreted wildly unfamiliar technology and provided key pieces of information. I think you need to revise your definitions a bit.
Well, I can interpret, but I do not know how to act in this situation.
But we're doing it, aren't we?
About an hour, I would be back from my room.
Also,
Okay.
back, I have a bottle of whiskey and glasses.
I am soaking wet, carrying a chest. Who put the pool in my room?
I told you it moved.
I just open up the chest. There's junk food. There's just crisps, chocolate wafers, and I'm just offering it to everybody at this point.
I give you the
Best idea you ever had.
You're pulling. I mean, it's pooled in the water. There's like bags of chips floating at the surface,
yeah.
and you're just pulling it out. Like,
You see Finn and Rocco
That
just having a
explosion.
nice giggle to themselves right now.
Thank you for not eating everything while I was gone.
Well, I can't have most of that. No, never mind.
Oh, that's right.
All right. So
I reversed the explosion, though. That shouldn't. I don't know. This is strange.
We reversed the explosion, but you already had some wiggly bits in space, is what you're saying?
Yes. They were
Right.
pre-existing before the
Okay.
explosion.
Oh.
Like potholes.
Did they cause the explosion?
Potholes.
No, I believe the isolated warhead detonated. It was timed to do so.
So isolated
Right,
warhead
well-
on the warp core.
We have one missing piece of this puzzle. That bit right there on your little station, it's moving. Somebody's there.
Someone.
you see somebody approaching the promenade on Narendra Station.
Do we have a video of it, or is it
Can
just
we
like a
get
signal?
surveillance?
Well, you are in the TARDIS. You could probably tap into Narendra Station's
It's all frozen.
sensors. It is all frozen. So
But
you
we're
might
getting-
have you from here. It would be extremely difficult to try to link up to your technology, move it through time, and view it. You'd probably have to go.
Is it easier if we just walk?
You're only going to find out who it is if you go and walk. Yes.
Field trip.
Right.
Let's see
Shall
who's
we?
like you.
Are they headed our way?
I'm always trying to make shall we happen, and you never back me up on it.
Right.
We shall.
We shall.
thank you.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel much better.
Adventures.
Catch
Want to go on
right, this feel
adventures?
a bit
It's tiny wiggly
strange.
bits. Those are the best adventures.
Other means have gotten away with it.
We shall.
We shall.
I like these.
It's nice to have other concerned people.
So we'll cut to Narendra.
Jeffrey stairs.
No. They moved up to the promenade.
Oh,
They moved up to the promenade.
oh, that's right.
So when you guys exit, again, the Doctor and everybody seeing this station for the first time. Finn, what's remarkable about this to you is seeing where humankind has come. Like you are looking. I mean, the ships now, looking out the window, seeing the Sally Ride. I mean, you know what it's like to hear the snapping of white sheets in a strong wind sailing on the Caribbean in the golden age of piracy.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at what the ships look like in the 24th century, where mankind has managed to,
It's a metal pirate ship.
in a way of
I'm quite
speaking.
fond of two of those things. So.
No ports for cannons, but you're sure they're on there somewhere. But as y'all are entering the station, you do in fact see movement shuffling through. Rather in like a sickly way, you see a confused individual. To y'all, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Long black hair, wearing what looks like some kind of leather armor strapped across its chest. And he stands about 6 feet tall, maybe 6'1". Lean, doesn't look particularly muscular, and a couple of scars on the side of his face. And as he's moving forward, he does look like there's a lot of bizarre marbling happening to his skin tone. Like darkened, like dark browns, and also kind of pale whites and greens. The two of you, you know you're looking at a Klingon. You're not sure who this Klingon is. You've never seen him before. But as he's moving through the crowd, Talon and Sage, you know when you've seen somebody who's come into contact with Borg tech before.
Yeah.
You've seen this before. And it almost looks like it's almost that sad, sick look of somebody who is a victim of the plague and who is literally walking until they die in that sort of strange state of shock. Moving, kind of bumping into a few people, but these people are literally like rocks because they're frozen in time. So he just kind of harmlessly bumps
He's not
off
fully
of them.
Borg yet, though.
Yeah, does he have some consciousness still? Like,
It's hard to say, but he doesn't seem to be moving like robotic.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's like he's sick, you said.
Oh, maybe
He's
the
moving
Borg
like he's kind of.
technology is frozen inside of him.
You don't know, but he's certainly not acting like a typical assimilated. You guys are watching whoever this creature is to you guys. He looks like he's in bad shape, and he's moving towards the window that looks out into the Shackleton Expanse.
I think that man's ill. Did you say you had a doctor?
Yes, but the doctor is back on. It's frozen.
Unfortunately, we have to pause.
No.
It's 5:30. Yeah, we have to pause and go on our break.
I don't want to.
So, but we're gonna have some pretty. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting what you guys are doing next. So go ahead and stay tuned. We'll see you guys back in 10 minutes as we complete our Doctor Who Star Trek crossover. We'll see you back in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's just that when we ate Hector, I thought it was gonna settle a lot better.
I know. Cooked all the way through.
Yeah, I should have cooked it all the way through.
I mean, the screaming though kind of
Enhanced the flavor a little bit, I thought. Maybe
not as much as I hoped.
I mean, but his arms. His arms from all that reading. Oh, hi everybody. Yes. So welcome back. Welcome back from our break. Yeah. So we've got a few questions about where's Hector.
We ate him off the tabletop.
He is. If you want to send your loving messages to him.
Don't you dare! This is the internet.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
He's fine.
No, Hector's fine. Yeah, he's taking the night off because Martinez is frozen in time.
Only one captain tonight.
Yeah, one captain tonight. So, but Hector will be back with us next week, being the awesome guy he is. So, which will be good because you know what I'm craving? I am seriously, and I'm hoping we get to it, I am seriously craving a scene between Scotty and Martinez. Has not really happened yet, so I'm craving it.
Scotty hopefully not being murdered by a Klingon right now. Yeah. Time.
Let's,
jinx it.
On that note, let's go ahead and get back into
First,
it.
we have to meet the little Cyberman flavored person.
The Cyberman thing, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's what his brain feels like.
As where we pick up where we left off, y'all have re-entered Narendra Station, tracking down yet another mystery. There is a life form on the station that is not affected by the time, oddly enough, the freezing of time here. Now, you're on the promenade, and as I described before, everyone here is frozen, even the tech, except for this one lone Klingon, who looks a bit mottled in skin tone, where places where it goes bleach white with green veins running through the cheeks, and the other places where it looks like the healthy Klingon pigment color. Dr. Corsair, Master, you've seen something similar to this before. It looks like somebody who's kind of been affected by a crossing of time streams, so to speak. Like for example, you've seen parts of people age, other parts not age in the same moments. It kind of has that same look and feel. Just your instinct in everything you learned from both your experiences in the academy on Gallifrey tell you that might be what's at play here.
Little bit splinched.
Klingon is kind of like moving sickly towards the greater windowed area that looks out into the Shackleton Expanse where the battle is happening.
Right, this one looks like it's got a bit of temporal poisoning. Hello, you there? Friend of yours?
Stops. And he just slowly turns and looks at all of you.
Hello. Is this normal for the species?
No.
Bajoran.
I pull out my
species
phaser.
6113.
My phaser is out.
Okay, you pull out your phaser.
Yeah.
Vulcan, species 3259.
Be very careful. Don't touch him. He's been assimilated by the Borg.
Do not.
What is a Borg?
What's a Borg?
It is. We're not sure, but it is terrifying.
Scan.
It's not good.
Make a roll. Difficulty is 1.
I've pulled out my blaster, seeing them pull out their weapons.
Get your guns.
Okay.
1.
Okay. Go ahead. By the way, just for grins, I'm going to say everybody who has spent them gain 1 story point back.
I haven't spent.
yeah.
I was psychic.
I'm not going to. I won't subtract. You've got that 3 buffer zone, so even though it's a new scene, I'm not going to subtract momentum from you
we're
guys.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank them for their freeze frame.
Yeah, we're really bad shots. So it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot this thing.
We'll take 12 momentum.
Thank you for freezing me.
Master, you run the sonic screwdriver up and down, getting a good tech scan of this creature that's in front of you. It is exhibiting all the signs of sort of a zombified, agonized life form that has been crossed with some kind of neurotech. And as you scan it, you see a lot of similarities between Cybermen and this thing. However, it looks like the integration process in this creature hasn't fulfilled. It looks like parts of the bloodstream where the nanites are flowing through have frozen in time. Every move this creature makes must be agonizing.
To put it bluntly, is the meat moving or the machine moving?
It's both. This creature is in a state of frozen assimilation, but it's somehow still outside the time zone. It's not doing what their bodies are doing. Instead, it looks like it has an aura of fluctuating chronoton particles. Like maybe it was like you suspect this is what it would look like if this thing had been too close to the blast radius, the way initially everybody else was. It's possible nobody spotted him or what, but he also has some of his consciousness still available to him. The last thing I will tell you is that though the tech looks similar to Cyberman, this is, if you can imagine it, more insidious. He is being altered at the cellular level, whereas Cybermen basically take the technology, replace, plug in, alter. It's a little more of a blunt instrument. This looks like a plague.
This is some form of cyber conversion, shared consciousness.
Is there any dimension where people aren't prey from machine minds?
Do not shoot or strike unless provoked. It will only attack if it sees you as a threat.
Talon, we need to find where the spark technology is. If once the time starts again, if everyone that becomes unfrozen gets assimilated, then there's no point of unfreezing things to begin with.
Yes.
Assimilated, is that what they call it? Everyone's the same. How do you save them?
Well,
not easy.
No, not at home either.
I'm gonna throw the data to anybody with a sonic device.
I wanna try to talk to this guy.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What is your name? What is your house?
I am Chukai of House Doros. This was not supposed to happen.
I put my phaser away slowly.
Maybe I can help.
Chukai, you are very ill.
How do we help?
We need to try to help you get better.
They're here for me.
Who is?
He points to the two Cavort-class birds of prey stationed in the middle of Frozen in Time in combat. And he just says, I must go to them.
You cannot go to them in your current state. You will spread your illness. We need you to tell us where the Borg technology is.
Where did you come in contact with it?
It is in me.
Right, it is now, but I'm guessing you didn't come up with it.
What is happening to me?
You are being assimilated, but it is frozen by time.
Sela promised me. I must get this to Sela.
You are dying. No promises can be kept while you are dying. You have to help us first.
All that matters is the House of Doros.
No, all that matters right now is life or death. You have already doomed all of us. If we fix this...
Good. The enemies of House of Doros shall burn.
So will the House of Doros if you don't help us help you.
You didn't read that agreement very carefully, did you, before whatever it was you decided to take on?
Agreement?
I've seen things like that before. There's no glory on the other end of it. There's no you on the other end of it.
I must go. And he begins to turn slowly and lumber towards the window.
Going pretty slow.
Finally, someone I can outrun.
I've already run over the window and I'm looking out there. I'm ignoring all
Okay, you walk over and look out the window, and you definitely see the two ships, quite advanced. Looking out, yeah, definitely 24th century, all right. You're looking at phaser technology, which is a dramatic upgrade from laser technology. Looks like probably post-warp civilization. Everything that kind of matter, antimatter. You are watching plasma energy being used as a weapon, which you haven't seen too many other races use.
Nothing like what's in him, though, right?
Nothing like what's in him.
Can I shut it down with my sonic?
Shut down the Borg assimilation with your sonic?
Either that or it'll start it.
You can try.
Also, just a quick note: are both covert classes currently being explored?
No,
Or
only
just the
one.
one?
It looks like
Right,
So,
okay.
so just to give an an image of what you're seeing out there, for those of you who are familiar with the Star Trek universe, their characters rather, it looks like a Romulan warbird decloaked behind them as they were attacking the Galaxy class, and they fired on one of the ones that was more damaged, and that's the one that's in the middle of detonating.
Got it.
So both cohorts are fighting the Dauntless, but the Romulan is taking out
The
one
Romulan
of them.
dropped in out of nowhere.
Right.
And is attacking one of the cohorts. Now, the Dauntless, again, looks messed up.
Blasty.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, because I'm a little slow right now,
We should be
Does that-
pretty thankful for some of that.
is
blasty.
Sela or the Romulan, are they betraying the Klingons? Is that what we're kind of seeing?
It's possible.
Okay.
Or it's possible that Tal Shiar agent you spoke to, this is his ship.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's
That he
possible
was
that those.
allying us.
Okay.
It's hard to say. Obviously, when the Tal Shiar are involved, who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, if when time restarts, so to speak,
Right.
if it does, then that warbird might turn on the Galaxy class next. It's hard to say. Everyone looks wounded. The warbird looks pristine. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm scanning the tech to see if there's anything this can do.
Go ahead and make a roll. Difficulty here is going to be 2.
The doctor
May I?
tries to save someone.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
it.
Do the doctor thing.
Oh, you actually do not get to spend momentum.
Oh,
You have to use your story
I have
points.
to use this stuff.
We're not from this place.
Yeah. I'll explain
So-
later, but I'm basically blending. Thanks, by the way, to Dave Chapman who helped me come up with this. But I came up with an amalgamy between the Star Trek Adventure System and Doctor Who for this game specifically.
All right.
So go ahead and pop your story points. You get 1 extra die, I believe, if you spend 1 story point.
That is what I'm using. Yes.
Okay, cool. Difficulty's 2.
There's nothing more Doctor Who than I'll explain later.
Yeah,
And this is science, right?
that's correct.
6 successes.
Okay. Whoa! The Doctor.
Time Lord, yo.
All right.
Decision machines.
So 2 things. The integration of the nanites, it is very similar to how the Cybermen claim people essentially and upgrade them. It is functioning at a different level. As I kind of described to the master, it's even more. It's based even more at the cellular level than the Cybermen use. It's not quite as it's not quite as elegant, but it's also not as horrifically morbid. The Cybermen is definitely a nasty process. But these little nanites that are infecting the bloodstream, you don't see those until much more advanced Cybermen come along. And it looks like the job of conversion into a drone is messy. The best way the Doctor can think of the best way that you can, as many have said before, space zombie. It's horrifying. This is horrifying.
Is there anything I can do?
Given the state of the nanites in his system, some of them being frozen in time, some of them not, and the state of his body right now, all you can do is pull a tenet and say, I am sorry, I am so sorry. This Klingon is gone. There is no hope for him, but you definitely detect that the technology inside of him is still functioning on a level. It looks like most of his body itself looks like it has been rendered immune to the time freezing effect, and it has given him some agency. It's taking a lot longer, but the assimilation is still happening. And you also detect that he is very dangerous. It looks like the nanites have already enhanced his musculature, giving him a level of strength that's probably far surpassed what it looks like this body can do. You also detect that he has been developing technology inside of him. Interestingly enough, it looks like it's converting some of the biological matter into tech using the nanites. And you see those very peculiar things you've never seen before, but that they would be familiar with. Very peculiar tubes that look like that have formed inside of his
Okay.
Take a step back.
left arm.
Don't get close.
Corsair? Mm-hmm. What do we do with Cybermen?
Shoot them.
No, you cannot shoot him. He will attack. He will not attack unless he is provoked.
Chukai, right?
Yukai.
You only have a few moments left. I want to be angry with you if you made the choices that brought everyone to this emergency, but they're currently eating you from the inside.
Chukai, have you considered that perhaps your Romulan contact, Sela, is out there in that warbird betraying you right now?
Sela?
Isn't that who you make Sina?
Sela, yes, Sela. I must get the tech to Sela.
Where's Sela?
She has betrayed you.
Sela has promised me.
She has betrayed you.
He
Look
can-
outside.
I have an idea.
He continues to slowly shuffle towards the window, and now towards you, Master, as you're sitting there.
I have an idea.
I have not turned around yet. Somebody have a plan to deal with this.
You might want to turn around and move.
He's shuffling towards you.
All right, I'm going to turn around and make eye contact.
I would say make a roll real quick, difficulty 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
2 successes. 1 is a 1.
So crit. So 3.
Looking in his eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking in his eyes, this must be like a walking nightmare for him. He probably is not actually hearing the words that are being. It's very likely you're not actually talking to anybody right now, but an echo of what Chukai used to be. There is a thing in front of you that is in the transitionary process of losing all that it is. And every time trigger words are mentioned, like Sela and the Borg tech, he's replying, but you're looking at him, you actually see it's more elemental than anything else. He is a walking danger. He is like on Terminator mode. He's completely...
I think he's going to break the glass.
What?
I'm going to run over to Roko.
Yes.
What do you think about telepathically employing the technology to return to ship?
I can try that. Sure.
I'm going to try and do a thing where we do a mind meld, basically, and tell the Borg, basically, Mother B in distress, please return to your pod, basically.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't done a bad psychic idea in a while.
Right. Finn rolls her eyes and...
Here we go.
Before the doctor can object, yeah.
All right.
I've just basically become a seat for you.
Yeah. Here we go. It's been a while, but here we go.
All right.
All right, Roko.
Why is it always when you're around, right?
It's
All right.
also when he's not around.
If you can, get him back to the technology. We need to know where the technology is.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your roll.
Okay.
This will be a standard roll. The difficulty here is going to be 4.
I'm assisting.
All right.
Okay. So then you'll roll 1d20 here, and I'll let you guys pull your story points together for this, like you could in the old game.
I'll add a story point to this.
You're gonna have to burn them to use this ability anyway.
All right, so
Scaled up, I'd say this is 3 story points.
All right, so by this I'm not rolling for psychic. Am I rolling for psychic? As like a
You wouldn't have.
or like?
I tell you what. I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's make this super easy. We'll use the story point mechanism, and we'll say you have to burn up to 3, and you can use the master story point to help you with this.
Okay.
So
I
I'll burn 1, you burn 2, or do you want me to burn 2?
That sounds good.
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Yes.
I've seen you take on the greatest threat in the universe. This is the mind of a Cyberman. You're being careful.
Of course, Doctor. I'm always careful, and we've met Cybermen before. Remember when we broke out of that chase? I'm serious. No, nothing. Nothing. All right, let's do this now.
I grip onto their head and get the sonic out.
Okay.
And open communication.
Two of you have no idea what's going on, but
We pulled both of our phasers.
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
I'm keeping my blaster on him too.
Yeah.
All right, weapons are drawn on this thing in case the worst should come to pass.
Weapon, but Roko,
The first thing you hear, Roko, is whispers. It starts as 1, and they're indistinguishable. And then 2, and then 20,000. You feel a surge as you tap into the echo of the voice of the Borg Collective, and it is overwhelming. It is the voices of the Borg Collective all whispering their thoughts, their experiences. It's a flood. It's nothing like tapping the mind of a Cyberman. This is This is if the Cybermen were in the world of darkness. This is dark Cyberman stuff. As it's flooding into you, you hear the screams of Chakai. Almost like he is alone on the floor, and you see a representation of him in front of you, screaming, "I did it for Duras! For the House of Duras!" And he's pulling at his armor, and you're watching shadows surround him, and they're calmly taking pieces of his body away.
No, come here. I tried to go to him.
You're trying to like shuffle through, and all you're hearing there are these bizarre like sounds, the sounds of Borg all around you, as each one is taking a representation of what is left of the identity that is Chakai, and taking it away piece by piece, and inserting it into the collective and cycling it through a data stream. One by one, this Klingon is being destroyed, and he's screaming out into the void his defiance that he dies with glory, only it's starting to occur to him he's not dying at all, it's much worse. He is stepping into the void. He doesn't seem to be aware of you, but what you're witnessing right now, Roko, is easily one of the most horrifying representations of a death you've ever witnessed.
I tried to reach for any piece of him that I can get, so to hold on.
You shuffle through. Go ahead and make a roll.
Yeah.
Master, you are vaguely aware of the experiences. It does feel familiar to you because you've encountered Cybermen from all stretches of time. Again, the Borg feel like the disease version of the Cybermen. If the Cybermen were just like a nice, clean system.
I'm gonna try and get some data into Rokoko's head.
Okay.
So.
You can hear the Master talking to you in the back of your mind. Go ahead and make a roll. Difficulty is 3. But this is not a physical roll.
No, it's one of.
That's correct.
It's one of my rolls.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Oh, good. I didn't fail. Wait, no, it's difficulty 4?
3.
3? Oh, in that case, I absolutely failed. I didn't even slightly succeed. I got 2. That's less than 3. So it's a failure.
But the Master's assisting.
I was going to say, well, again, you guys are using the story point system too.
If it counts as assistant.
What are you trying to get a hold of him, or?
Yeah, I'm trying.
So if you want to burn a story point, Tal, I'll let you.
I'm not looking
assist.
to save this guy.
Huh?
I'm not looking to save this guy.
If you know what I'm trying to.
Oh.
Are you trying to save Roko? Are you trying to save him?
Roko is absolutely trying to save him.
You cannot reach out to him. You try to reach, but the Borg seem completely oblivious as the representation of the collective just kind of ignores you. You're getting shuffled around. It's like being in a mosh pit. You can't reach out and touch him. And he's screaming up. It's like a single spotlight is shining down on him, and all of these shadows are just reaching out. And you hear that clicking, that buzzing, the whirring sound of the Borg moving in on him like wolves to a dying animal.
It's just bees. Back to the hive. Just bees. Ignore him.
Go back to the hive? I try to relay the message that the Master told me to get him to go to the place he was supposed to go to.
Hive's in danger.
Hive is in danger.
Make a roll.
All right.
Difficulty is 3, same roll.
All right.
3?
Yep,
Okay.
natural crit.
So it's very disturbing. But you guys watch Chakai stop as he's walking towards the glass, and and meanwhile, inside the mind, the Borg stop, and just like in the movie Inception, all of them turn and look straight at you.
This is bad.
Everyone silently stares right at you, Roko.
This is
And
bad.
you hear Chakai, the representation of Chakai, this intellect, his identity being devoured. What's left of it just crumples, and he starts, and he sees you. And the Borg do not seem to be taking the order. They don't seem to be doing anything else, though. It looks like they've stopped and they've identified you, and they're staring at you.
This is very.
Chakai goes, You must kill me. Please. You must kill me.
I'm backpedaling out away from all of this.
You feel Roko pulling out of the consciousness of this Klingon. and you snap out of it instantly. And when
what
Rocco
happened?
snaps out of it, you see Chikai just and then stiffen and take the posture of a Borg drone.
Pistol out facing Jakai.
He begins to walk towards the glass.
Oh, it's too late.
It's futile.
Come on. We are gonna die. Okay, well.
We have to.
You get one shot before he's able to adapt to your energy weapon. You get one shot.
Can we spend
Who's firing?
a moment?
I think everybody.
It's going to be these two. They had their weapons drawn, so they're getting the fire. They're
Well, I had mine drawn too, so.
yeah. They had theirs drawn first.
To figure out what is the spot to aim for that would take him out potentially the most, just like...
In all honesty, the head.
The head. All right, cool, yeah.
I mean, it's a phaser weapon, so really, anywhere you strike him with an intent to kill, it's going to be, it's going to have the same effect.
it was set to kill.
No, mine was done.
It's going to have the same effect.
Can we both shoot?
Yeah,
How
do we do this?
So we both just go
You
Talon?
can't shoot at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's going to be a fraction. I'll let you have an action first, Talon.
Okay.
So go ahead and make a roll.
I'm definitely spending another momentum.
Yes.
Okay, difficulty is 2.
All right. And what am I rolling?
You're rolling your security and your...
Control?
Control. No, I don't think it's control. Daring. It's daring and security.
Okay.
You want me to take it? Want me to take the shot? I'm a daring
You are
trouble.
going to in a sec.
Remember, and you haven't
only
spent
get one
determination
shot.
or anything
Can
yet.
I just do 2 more?
Only get one shot, the
Yeah.
Borg adapts.
I'm gonna do another die.
All right.
Because, like...
Remember, you had those 3 pulled anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so go ahead and make your roll.
All right.
Here, take one of mine.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that's... Okay. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't have a focus, but
4 successes.
if I had a focus, it would be...
So get back 2 momentum. You strike him.
Yes.
It is a Type 2 phaser, so it starts with 3. What's your security rating?
My security rating is 2.
2, so 5.
Okay.
So you're gonna roll 5d6.
Here.
Oh, here. Have some.
You got the Star
you.
Trek
Go
one.
nuts.
5d6, right?
5 total.
The weapon has an adaptable energy supply, allowing its potency to be scaled to different levels. If the character performs a prepare minor action, which it's fine. They
You
may
have, but she's been aiming at
Yeah.
it the whole time, so...
So you may add one of the following damage effects to the attack: area, intense, piercing, or vicious.
Vicious.
I'm guessing Sam is going to tell you to use vicious.
Piercing could conceivably also be useful by lowering its resistance.
His armor is not functioning. Like he's not.
Okay,
he's
cool,
wearing
then.
a Klingon uniform, but
And he
he's
has no
not really.
helmet.
He's not wearing the actual ceremonial
Or
Klingon
even for
armor.
his hand.
Yeah, vicious is super dope.
All right. Vicious.
All right, so then roll the 5d6 and tell me what you got.
It's super dope.
I believe it.
Oh, how do we do that?
You can spend
I
a momentum to
reroll?
reroll damage
Yep.
selectively.
Do it.
And is it partial reroll?
Yeah, it's selective.
Great. So,
That's how I get the maroon numbers.
boom, boom. Keep those. Those are good. All right. Yes.
3 effects
crap.
and 2 other ones.
Such happy
Yeah, 2.
noises.
So 2, and then 5 total, and then 3 of them are effects.
Each
Okay,
effect
so
is
that's-
worth 2.
Oh, then
Because 1 and then 1 for vicious.
7, 8.
8.
Rune numbers!
So first of all,
Close your eyes.
I'm guessing because you only got one shot at this, that this was lethal.
Yeah.
Set to kill.
Hell
Yes.
I did say set to kill. I
Yes.
did.
He's saying that because he gets threat.
I get threat.
All right, fine.
It's a board. It's fine.
Now, apparently, they told you that these weapons were used for self-defense. You're now capable of seeing what they can do. The phaser beam set to max, you pointed at Chukai as he's walking, and he raises his fist towards the window. Apparently, the master was dead on. In your experience with the Borg, it's entirely possible he could damage this window. He could definitely survive in the vacuum of space if he's assimilated.
And there would be no force field.
Right.
Because everything's frozen.
There's no scream. There's a slight smell. The air is ionized. As you watch the burning effect, the vibrant reds, as from the borders of his body, shrinking into the center, Chukai is disintegrated in front of you. as the phaser set to kill just vaporizes him.
I can't look. Tell
There's
me
a
when I can look.
slight echo
Not yet, love.
of him
I hear him.
gone, like he was never there.
I won't hear him anymore.
Chikai in the House of Duras is dead. And the Borg tech apparently with him.
Well, as far as we know, there were 4 different packages of board tech on the ship.
You were looking for one package that had been in 4 different places.
Echo, it was like an echo of it.
It was in him all along.
Was it him?
It was him all along.
It was inside of him all along.
Sorry, that was cheesy. It was inside of him all along. Oh.
It's dead silent on the promenade.
I'm just gonna holster my blaster because that's clearly not needed
You're like,
anymore.
I'm gonna just run my fingers over the carpet where he was, just to see if there's anything left.
He's been atomized. You are detecting biological traces. Phasers do, in fact, leave behind a genetic waste.
But no tech.
No. To the molecular level, the nanites, everything has been vaporized.
That's a shame. Imagine that tech in the wrong hands.
Finn picks up Roko.
I'm sorry, we had to.
Borg are worse than Davros.
What?
Borg are awful. They're really terrible.
Are you all right?
It was bad there.
I think their idea of peace and our friends at units might get along. But
Right?
thank you.
Everyone is still frozen.
Oh,
How did
Why-
he get unfrozen?
It must have been something to do with the Borg technology, but let's just hope it didn't get a signal out to the actual collective. That's what we should be most afraid of at this moment. Because if they can somehow not be frozen in this bubble, they could just pretty much come right onto the ship and assimilate everyone while they're completely defenseless.
Are there communication signals just hovering in space where he was walking? Was it just like, because I assume they would just get frozen the minute that
It looked like he was probably receiving communication signals at one point.
Interesting.
But that ever since the bomb went off, it looks like maybe what you were actually witnessing when you're inside of his head is a loop of the same communication signal.
So there's nothing.
Nothing. He was being assimilated, but he had no link to the collective.
Okay.
It was eating him up. Just inside. They were all inside him already.
Doctor and Master and Jody, go ahead and make science rolls.
Companion
Doctor,
life.
Master, and Jody. It's the new sitcom.
The Jody.
It's the Jody. I don't know. I could say Corsair and Jody, and it's still in the Doctor Who verse at this point. Difficulty here is 1.
I got 2.
Okay.
3.
Roll a 4.
Okay. So all y'all gain back 1 story point, and
Haven't spelled one yet.
Talon, you lower your hand. Is this the first time Talon has ever killed someone?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was absolutely logical and necessary, but I'll let that sit. You can tell me what Talon's feeling or not feeling, but you've seen it before, Doctor. This is a person who's never had to kill someone before. You can tell. You've seen it so many times. The other thing that what's that?
I've been there.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that occurs to you. Running that scan to find out if any of those communications were in place, you detect that same bridging effect from the bomb, sort of the aura that took place, that thinning effect of the universes. When that phaser went off, it caused some of the particles of the chronotons to be excited around him. And it wasn't enough to actually have an effect to open up, but you're looking at the data readouts, and once again, you're seeing evidence that when you are connected or close to a thinning of the walls, a large enough energy pulse, so long as it's familiar to something that's happening, could technically bridge between the two universes. But you would need something, Master, and this is again, the reason why it's a lot of exposition is to simulate the fact that you guys are, as Time Lords, you're also exposition lords. So
Tell us about it.
let's be honest, at Doctor Who, that's just like, oh, well, here's the entire explanation of it. So what you're able to extrapolate from your considerable knowledge is that being in this alternate universe, now having been in 2 alternate universes that you don't belong in, you're seeing a correlation between the fact that if you find something that is mirrored in another universe and is meaningful enough or big enough or powerful enough, that might be what you need to establish a link to be able to walk back to where you were and possibly close everything.
And is this Borg Cyberman connection enough to do it?
No, you're not detecting anything on the station. You're probably going to need something maybe off the station if you can get off the station, which you'll have to use the TARDIS for. But your calculations, and all of y'all are kind of quiet as you're all having this realization at the same time, but you'll have to find something that's familiar to one of you close by, or something that you're familiar with, and maybe the TARDIS can find it.
There was nothing that popped up on my earlier scan of the area that would ping.
Well, the immediate area you scanned was just an Narendra station, but you can do a deep scan if you want, for sure.
Back to the TARDIS then?
Oh, we are still frozen. Is it possible for you to reverse time?
In small chunks, but it doesn't always end well.
It doesn't usually go the way you'd like, but do I have reason to believe that if we remove ourselves as elements, the remaining effects might go away, or do I believe that the effects of the time freezing were closely related to Chukai's actions?
I would say spend 2 story points.
All right.
I'll give you the answer to that, as you have a Time Lord moment and sort of extrapolate again, taking everything you know. Those moments.
Is there something here I can reverse the polarity of?
Yeah. Those moments where the doctor's kind of pacing back and forth and working it all out in their head and talking a bunch of mumbo jumbo, and then I know how to fix this.
It's a strange place, although I think the humans have done well for themselves because you didn't clearly want to take that life, but you've all come together, and any time I see that. What?
I'm a Vulcan, I'm not human.
Yes, but you've actually teamed up with them, and they're terrible at working with others, so that says good things about your timeline in general. Sorry, no offense intended.
None taken, really.
Yeah, Finn's like, I've been the captain of a pirate ship. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah,
very good, Captain.
We're prone to violence and debauchery.
That's why you're so fun.
Doctor, so the question was, if you guys are removed from the equation,
Do I have reason to believe that the removal of us as elements would revert the remaining time? Like, are we the thing keeping time frozen here now that Chukai's out of the picture? Okay.
Yes. You guys are like a shard of glass in a wound. If it's gonna heal, it's got to be moved. It's got to be taken out, and you got to find a bridge back, and you got to do it soon.
How do we get a bridge?
For once in our lives, it wasn't you that caused this. But you'll be happy to know you're part of the problem. We've all got to get out of here, and then I believe your timeline will reassert itself. Now that poor damn gentleman is out of the picture, I think the damage has been done, and there'll be pieces to pick up, but we're the ones keeping the wound open, so to speak.
Do you believe that the Chronoton infestation will be removed when you leave?
I think it will heal itself, but we've got to find a way back to our side. And it needs to be something familiar. What's in this part of space?
Well, the majority of the Shackleton Expanse has not been explored.
Oh, delightful. Oh, no, no time.
We do know that there are some gravitational anomalies throughout this part of space.
Right. Let's go have a look, shall we?
Yes.
Are there plants?
Yes, there are plants.
I'm connected to plants.
It's their whiskey. I'm very connected to whiskey.
There is whiskey as well.
That one.
Yep.
That was wrong.
Not again.
We can find you all of these items if that will help you.
Let's go back to the TARDIS.
Okay.
As we're walking to the TARDIS, I want to say the Corsair. Excuse me.
Yes.
Ensign Sage and I. Did you see that we are related genetically?
That just seemed to be an element to your genetic makeup that is allowing you to sort of sidestep the chronoton freezing. And it seemed to be the same genetic anomaly. So that was why I asked. It could be a species thing, as you mentioned. It could be a more close familial connection, just from what I saw.
Thank you.
Lark has to take that in because that means she's been with someone from her family the entire time.
The real family was a friends of mutual one.
Much like the board.
Talon will have some sciencing to do after this is all done. But that's for another time.
Take my blood. Right now.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Could we do some 23
Quick,
and
just cut the arm off. Take this.
Ancestry.com. Let's go.
Do you want on the back?
I need to get my box back.
All right.
We'll send it off.
Finn shifts Rocco just to the back and just holds the legs, wraps around the throat.
Okay.
Ready to go?
You're Luke and Yoda-ing this?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Best backpack ever.
All right.
I mean, can't you just kind of come the same way you came? Like hit it with a brunch or something?
I don't know if that's going to work this time.
I think you closed that hole, didn't you?
Yeah, that one's gone now.
Right, let's see what we can find. Give me a hand.
Of course.
Back to the TARDIS, which is still sitting comfortably in the engine compartments of the near the airlock of this USS Sally Ride. So stepping back in to the TARDIS, you guys walk over to the console and plug in. I'm guessing you're just doing a deep scan?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say difficulty is 3. Oh, wait, you're assisting? Who's assisting? You are? Okay, with your familiarity with Shackleton Expanse, you're able to, I'll say difficulty 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. And so go ahead and make your rolls. And your specialty would definitely come into play here. You're basically scanning deep space.
Great.
Yeah.
The Time Lord laugh.
I know. 5 successes. 6 total.
6 total. The Time Lord.
You gave us a focus in everything.
I know. How many did you get?
What?
How many did you get?
I got 1 success.
1 success. So 7 successes.
No, 6.
6 total. I was
6
adding.
total.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. The scan takes a bit. You're doing a very detailed scan. Here's something that's fascinating to you, Talon. The scans that the TARDIS is able to commit to don't follow any kind of logical point A to point B type scan. So for example, if you're scanning in deep space, normally you'd have to be in deep space to scan deep space. But the TARDIS is able to do wacky things like find a moment in space-time and scan from there, almost like it's casting a fishing line and looking around and then casting a fishing line. So you're looking at sensor readings that the Sally Ride could never do. The TARDIS is able to basically periscope out into the universe and find what she needs to find. And it takes about 10-15 minutes. So as that's happening, what are the rest of y'all doing?
I'm pouring everyone some whiskey.
You just clink, you hear the clink of glass. The Vulcan and the Doctor are over there just kind of conferring with each other.
No.
Doctor, I would say this. It is delightful talking to this Vulcan. They seem to have a culture of emotional repression, but you get the impression that the science exploration aspect brings them to life. Because Talon is vibrant and focused and energized like a precision instrument as they're analyzing your readings and back and forth.
Have you ever considered seeing the universe?
Oh my god. Chat is blowing up right now.
I explore the universe every day.
Ever seen a different time?
No, I am limited by the linear nature of my own.
What's the fun of that?
Are you offering something?
Well, we do occasionally pick up friends along the way. Not sure how we'd work out the dimensional doorway problem.
It's a great spell.
I would not want to miss any of my own life, so perhaps wherever we would go, you could return me right here.
Could we? New friend?
Do I need to make up another bedroom?
From another universe, just so you know, when this closes, it'll be a Rose situation. You'll be cut off.
And it probably won't close if we take someone to the other side, will it?
You'll probably be perpetuating the problem. Yeah.
I'm not hearing that.
Sage, those books you've looked through, some of these are manuscripts from the Library of Alexandria, and you're not entirely sure what that is, but as you're looking through it, you get the impression that they're kind of valuable.
I'm trying to memorize as much as I can.
You're like, oh, okay.
Finn said I couldn't have the whiskey. No. But I've had a bad day and I want the whiskey. So I very hopefully go mammal.
Okay.
My little ginger man.
Lizard plant turns into a human looking.
Let me put this in another way. Let me put this in another way. The bubbly lizard plant creature shapeshifts.
Oh no! Oh!
And now it looks like
We see this happening in front
Oh
of
yeah. Well, I would say Lark sees this.
Okay.
You're leaning over a console having a conversation with the doctor.
Are you still on my back?
No.
Okay.
I'm sneaking off for shenanigans.
No, I totally give Roka.
You're shape-shifting into...
Describe your new form.
I am a curly-haired ginger.
So, a human version of their lizard self, lizard plant self.
Sneaky little thing. If you think I'm not watching you like a hawk right now, you've got a...
Can I roll to be inconspicuous? That will totally work against my space spouse.
Remember, this is Doctor Who. You can throw a story point.
Oh,
Well, that is going to be...
Did they just
rolling
shift into me?
increases the probability of failure.
That's actually their human form. It's just an amazing.
Yes.
Like
that. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
What do I need to do?
Am I related to everyone?
I am the mitochondrial Eve.
I'm related. Ancestry.com needs to get on this.
All right, roll off.
Now my contestant.
All right, roll off.
Spending a story point.
All right then.
All right.
Fine, we're doing this.
Yeah, this is my
so-
first roll. I got to do something special.
Rocco, for you, it'll be your social roll. Because you're being smooth right now.
I'm being very smooth. I'm incredibly smooth.
Can I say this is a physical roll because I'm being physically protective of my favorite person?
It's a nice try there. No.
Right, you're not gonna let me see this?
Oh.
My target number's garbage.
Yeah.
It's under what?
It's gonna be.
For
It's gonna be for you. It's a non-physical roll.
Right.
Crits at 5. If it's
At 5, okay.
If it's what you specialize in.
You
she
don't-
go?
So to clarify, if it's not what you specialize in, you don't get the crit. So it's
Right,
combat.
that's fine, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So the difficulty was 1, and it's a contested roll. So what'd y'all get?
I got 1. I got a whole 1. And I'm going to go and find out about the whiskey.
And Finn, what'd you get?
Do you take the whiskey?
I'm going to go up to Lark, who is a local mammal, who definitely has the inn, and say, do you have any of that whiskey by chance? I tried an alcohol once.
From up on the catwalk, from the hammock, all you hear is, "Don't you dare!"
I'm so confused.
It was worth a try.
Love you for it, but don't even.
And I'm so
I love you too.
I'm so in shock about what just happened. I just take whiskey. I need a drink after seeing all of that.
And I
You
pulled
hear-
another
Your
one.
beautiful mind needs to say quite clear right now, thank you.
Yes,
There's
Captain.
a bleeping sound at the computer as the TARDIS triangulates a spot outside of the zone.
Interrupts the train of thought where I've just imagined an entire future which I unfortunately need to put back and be like, maybe next time. Doors are in the way. I hate that.
So, so there's a bleeping sound at the computer.
Oh, right.
And
Bleep.
you look down and you see a planet. Zeroes in on a planet. Interestingly enough, it does seem to be a planet with a lot of biological life. Talon,
I think I know.
Talon, you know this planet.
Recognize this.
It was the first planet the Sally Ride visited when she came to the Shackleton Expanse.
This looks like a good one.
You ran right past the USS Dauntless to find a world where you could make a deposit when no one was watching. It's an uncharted solar system, binary.
Boo.
However, the TARDIS's scans don't match the atmosphere of the planet that you originally scanned.
Oh my goodness.
They scan the original atmosphere, if you remember, was very much like Neptune.
Yep.
It was filled with acid rain and it was filled with ammonia. This one looks like the atmosphere is now filled with mostly carbon dioxides and oxygen. For all intents and purposes, Talon, you kind of double check this with your tricorder and re-verify the coordinates. It's the exact same planet, except for it is in the process of becoming a Type M world.
This is where we deposited Jenny.
That's correct.
Does it remind me of a place called Overcall?
Yes.
Were you two in the middle of anything? Broco, Finn?
No, nothing at all. I wasn't doing anything. What's going on? How can I help?
Sneaky and devious.
What's up,
Doctor, the alignment that you're getting from this, what you're registering is that you are going to have to use not just yourselves, but the anchor effect of whatever the imprints of this universe also has to activate that gateway. So in other words, you're going to need more than just Talon and Lark. You'll probably need anybody else who's come into contact with the life form that the
Right, do you have anyone with a connection to this world? I know that's a crazy long shot, but it would be very helpful. What?
Yes, we have two of the frozen crew members that you saw before.
The statues outside?
Yes. Two of them have a very strong connection to this life form that you're seeing on that planet.
Really?
Is it the ones he shopied?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Can we bring them?
Wait, what is it, Doctor?
Well, if we use them as a connection, we can probably try to thin the space and get through the door at that very
it's Doctor Who, anything's
overcomplicated
possible,
place.
yes. You spend enough story points, yes, you can bring them.
It would probably be best if you
Overcall too?
unfreeze them.
You
wouldn't be able to unfreeze them.
Oh, well then I guess we'll carry them.
We'll just carry
You're going to have to
them.
find a way to transport them, but yeah.
Transport via plants?
Or just pick
bringing time-locked people into the TARDIS
yes.
won't
What point?
upset him too
What
much,
point would it be
will
reasonable to wonder if anyone has noticed if I'm in the room or not?
Oh goodness.
Not now.
What are you doing?
Everyone's
checking.
Lark.
I mean, depending on which way you went, I might have. Because
you were keeping a lookout, and also when we're starting to think about unfreezing people, I think we all naturally think to look to you.
Let's
So
just
if you
keep
want to
this-
have done,
I just
nonsense.
pointed at you a moment
Let's just
ago.
keep this story-wise dramatic and
Yeah.
say no one's noticed the
No.
monsters.
We just look around and
Sorry, he wasn't there when I tried to point at him.
What's that?
When I just tried to point at him.
My theory, I've been waiting for a break, was I probably went to go get something around the whiskey pouring.
Okay.
But
This
I
is-
haven't left the TARDIS. I'm just coming back up out of my room.
I think this is
Okay.
the moment where we all go, well, because the only thing we've seen on freeze anything is that whatever it is you've made. Where's he gone? Oh no!
He comes back.
Oh, I hate when he does that.
So yeah. So the objective then, I guess, you guys are going to go try to unfreeze Mala and Thrillo, or what are y'all doing?
Mr. The has to use his tea time.
I have and depending on whether or not this will work or not, I'll talk to you. I have the hammer and a giant pair of work gloves, like a ridiculous, make me look like a child pair of work gloves.
Okay. We'll say they're Sontaran.
That's fair.
You get these huge.
And I'm just going to quietly just try and leave the TARDIS and see if anybody says anything.
You see the master, kind of by himself, just with his thing, with these big work gloves on. You open the door and step out.
Right, hold on. What are you doing?
Right, Master, do you need a hand? Sort of phrases the cyber.
Y'all are kind of saying this after him as he whistles and just kind of waves.
Right.
I walk after
Okay.
him.
Be right back.
Lark, you're kind of lingering a little bit on that piece of data. You're basically it's Lark. I think at this point would realize that it's the planet where you left Ginny.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Are you
was
there?
connecting the dots.
Okay.
I can overhear them talking.
Okay.
Not that far.
So then the rest of y'all walk out. You approach the frozen members of the Sally, right?
You're not going to hit these people with a hammer.
Well, not immediately. I'm just going to use it wearing these big, thick, hopefully slightly time-padded gloves is the notion. Just start knocking at a few.
Spin to story point.
Yeah, happily. I was ready to see how many you would. Yeah. Just start to see what effect I'm having on objects in the room.
As you're poking at them a little bit with these gloves, you're watching sort of the ripple effect take place that you can perceive the chronoton particles. Theoretically, if you were to animate them again and quickly get them inside the TARDIS, they might stay unfrozen. But I'm going to require some story points to be burned for that. Because that's altering the narrative. So if you want to burn story points, I'll let you pull that off.
I'll contribute story points.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to smack them with the hammer.
Oh no.
You're gonna have to hit him with brunch, I believe.
Actually, here's
tea time?
here's a weird question. Is assuming this succeeds, that means if I move them to the future, that means they're unfrozen because we've succeeded.
Could cause a paradox.
Could cause a paradox.
Moving
Is there any way of
moving
seeing
them to the
them without
past is way
unfreezing
safer.
All right.
Cool. We'll be using tea time.
Okay.
Is there any way to unfreeze them in the TARDIS?
Probably. For you.
Yeah.
I'm handing one glove off each. You're probably going to want to catch them. They may go flying. And I'm trying to find the best angle to
batter
just kind of get a running start.
Who you hitting first?
I'm kind of hoping to do a splash effect and just burn the hammer out.
Do I still have force field?
Huh?
Are we gonna do all three?
Yeah.
Right, I just force field around then.
Around you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's very clever.
Safe.
No.
All right, burn
It's
your
all right.
story. Let's see. This is I'm gonna say this is 4 story points. You have 4 story points.
Wait, so you're gonna unfreeze?
I will contribute.
Okay.
We only need 2.
I contribute.
Thanks.
2 story
I'm
points.
not in the same way.
What?
I'm
all
force
right.
fielding. Don't worry.
So I'm just trying to move them slightly out of phase to see if that unlocks them. I've got a little bit of data from these two, so I'm going to
Meaning I
try and
can't
see if I can
catch
knock them.
Get ready to play multiple characters, guys.
Oh boy.
Because here comes the master with the mallet. You come charging forward and smash them right across what must be their face's torso area, the size of the mallet.
Going right for the hearts.
Oh, okay. The hearts. Bam! There's a ripple effect. Mala,
Yep.
your world is rocked. Throlo,
Yep.
it's the same. You were comforting each other for a second. Then the rising anxiety. Then you are struck across by. You feel like maybe you were hit by like a bowling ball, slamming into your chest. You're completely disoriented, and the next thing you know,
Who are you?
Don't ask questions.
No. You guys are impacted, hitting the ground and rolling hard, and I'm guessing that's when you guys grab and drag them
Into the box.
Into the TARDIS.
complete disorientation. You're hearing shouting, you're buzzed, and the next thing you know, you're being dragged and thrown onto a metal cat grate. And when that happens, the wave of dizziness immediately subsides. And you succeed. You see Mala and Throlo seem to be.
Is it all 3 of them or just those 2?
It's just those.
No, they didn't whack.
You see.
They're the least narratively interesting here. It's fine.
So you can't imagine.
Busties.
Try to imagine how disorienting this must be. But you're in the TARDIS now, and you see the very familiar faces of Lark and Talon as they approach you.
Oh, it's the nice ones. Hello.
Have we died?
No.
They're Time Lords, and everything is frozen, and we have to go visit Ginny.
There is a, by the way, Tal.
I think that's exactly what I would have said.
So,
Okay.
so one more thing. There has been a ripple in space-time again. Because as you impacted, the impact, the chronotons, the throwing into the TARDIS causes a rip, and you feel time go.
And now the vacuum's happening.
Kind of go back and forth. Yeah, the inside of the TARDIS begins to warp, and you watch, to your alarm, Doctor, the TARDIS reverting back to previous versions of the TARDIS, and then restoring itself to present, and then back into previous. There's a split second where you see a flicker of River standing in front of you, and she's gone, almost like an echo of a moment that happened.
Right, no
She's
time
gone.
to waste.
And when it finally stops, you all hear heavy thudding noises coming up from the library area. And a shouting noise as someone starts to stomp up, kind of confused. A very familiar voice.
No! This is very confusing. What is happening here? I object to everything. How dare you interrupt my studies? Oh, hello, Doctor. As I was saying, I object to every noise that is being made as I am studying. Hello, Doctor.
Hello. Have I seen him? Has he been
No.
traveling with us?
He's been dead.
What? How?
Velig,
What?
Velig, the last time you saw Velig is when you buried him on Sontar.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if that got reset.
And yet here he is.
Hello.
Velig? Oh, Velig.
Yes.
Flying hug.
Flying hug!
Helig, you are body tackled by everyone in the room. They kind of congregate around you.
This is rather uncomfortable.
Here's Blue Death. Why would you bring that up? It's sorry. It's special. It is.
My super powerful weapon is being stored in the library at the moment. This happens when...
Just scanning.
Indeed. This happens when one has died. One starts to think of ways to protect life and not always carry a weapon and go boomy, boomy, bangy, bangy, shoot, shoot, fall, fall, crying, and then no more.
You remember?
What a wise personage!
My fantasies now.
For the Star Trek characters, you see a very well dressed, coat wearing librarian with a very large potato-like head. This creature stands a little bit maybe over 4 feet tall, and is built like a tank. Thick limbs, thick feet, huge hands, a very expressive face considering the rest of its head doesn't have a neck. Every time it looks left or right, it's a shift, and voice is booming throughout the TARDIS. Clearly an old friend, as they've all dogpiled on top of him.
There's a pile.
Are you a Time Lord too?
Yes.
No.
Suntorin.
You do not have one of those tools that they have. Are you lying?
No.
Yes.
An old friend. Not of them about. Right.
I like this place.
I rather wish we could stay. But, right. Awful lot to see.
Do I have to die again?
No one's dying again today, hopefully. I certainly don't want to.
Keep your options open, but
Indeed.
and I'm gonna start things up.
You found my gloves.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
These
I'm
big
wearing-
gloves.
Right, so what we
I'm guessing you activate the TARDIS and start heading?
yes, we just need a way to return the folks who aren't from here back where they belong. We would appreciate that, yes.
Is there a way to get one of our shuttles on
The TARDIS? No.
Can I
but
have the TARDIS drop them off?
you can, remember, with your tech, you could leave them with a communication device.
Yeah, you can call
They
it-
can just call.
Call a lift.
Yeah.
You have a way back to your station here if things revert.
Yes.
Do we?
We have a way to communicate. If everything goes back to the way it should,
Hi, Darren.
That means communication.
I have an idea. I will shout at things to make them better.
Works like a sonic screwdriver, but with the voice.
It does.
I mean, if we were able to use some of your tech to boost our signal on our communication devices.
It is quite far for us to send a subspace message. It would take some time, but yes, if we had just some type of help from you, we could do that.
Right.
If you spend a story point, I'll make it so.
There we go.
Tricorder.
Tal, for your actions, go ahead and gain back 2 story points.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start futzing with the tricorder.
I'm watching
Okay.
because this is awesome.
And
Actually, I might need your help a bit.
Oh,
we got 15 minutes left.
This is your part of space. You're a pilot, right?
yes.
Right, okay. If you could just press that bit and watch with...
Sage is gonna fly.
Press that bit. I don't
get to
think
fly the
they
box?
understand.
I get to fly the
Could
box.
use a hand.
Yeah.
It was designed for many pilots, but...
Yeah,
think
Mala,
it was
Mala has resorted to
I know how
just
to
like
take a companion.
Yeah.
doing what you did when you first entered the just looking at how everything works.
I offer my
Be careful with that button. I won't touch.
What is
Okay.
May I punch a button? I'd like to punch a button, please.
Of course.
Which button should I punch, Doctor?
That one right there.
Indeed.
Right, not too hard.
Punch.
The TARDIS core immediately. And
I love this part.
Wait, did I get to push my button?
you hear the whirring, wheezing sound.
You both push buttons.
There's a lot of turbulence inside the TARDIS as it begins to rattle as you're pulling out of this time bubble that the Narendra station is stuck in. You manage to phase into the time vortex as by way of jumping out of this bubble, and when you reach the other side, the TARDIS rematerializes moments later in orbit of this planet. Now, as it materializes in orbit of the planet, Doctor...
Further ahead or further behind in the timeline? You said
ahead.
Oh.
When you arrive, a year and a half has passed.
Since
Narendra's been frozen for a year and a half in the primary timeline.
So everything
There's nothing
outside that
historically
bubble
you can
is a year and a half ahead of
Yes.
where Narendra is.
So we have discovered the Fountain of Youth.
Whoa, that's
Kind of like a planet, though. I like the planet. Planet sounds good.
it's a bit off from where we meant to land. We're probably a year and a half ahead.
a year and a half.
If we happen to...
Doctor. Not you. Dr. Throllo.
We both turn our heads.
Yes? We were waiting for that.
Oh,
Not
God.
Dr. Throllos. Dr. Shishiros. It's Jenny. She grew.
As
Mala
the TARDIS
pops
is landing, as the TARDIS is starting to make a landing, you in fact see the data on the screen popping up, and you see the coordinates, the name of the planet, the designation of the planet is fed through the tricorder of Talon. This is where you dropped off Jenny. The planet looks completely different, and as the TARDIS touches down through the atmosphere has gained oxygenization and O2. It's basically just O2 in the atmosphere and carbon dioxide, and the place looks like it is converted from what would be considered a low, like be able to sustain low levels of life, but half of a continent has been converted into what could be described as a single organic jungle that has spread over a half a continent.
She grew up.
And the TARDIS touches down.
One of you's gonna tell me what we're doing, right? She's so big.
I know yet.
10 minutes left. About.
Oh, can we go faster? Can we get there faster?
You're there.
We're there? We're landed?
Do I know it's a
Where's
planet?
the door? Where's the door? That way.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man.
Mala's like
You
like
run
a
out-
puppy needing to go
You
pee outside.
go open the door and run outside.
Now I see it.
You see Mala kind of charges out the door. I'm guessing Throllo's on Mala's heels.
So
the Andorian and the Betazoid go charging out the door without asking any more questions about the crazy shit that's going on. They seem completely focused on what lies beyond the doors of the TARDIS. And the rest of the Sally Ride crew that's here follows out. As everyone starts to funnel out, you step into lush grassland. A jungle area completely surrounding you. You are surrounded by new life.
What does it feel like?
Yeah, Eric.
What does it feel like?
As everyone's funneling out, it takes a few moments, but the first thing, as everyone's stepping out to see what the big commotion is, Mala, the first thing you hear as y'all are stepping out and looking around, it's so quiet here, just the wind. And then a few moments pass and you hear music. You hear music start to play.
What? Just like from the earth?
You're not sure where it's coming from.
Well, it's not some Taran opera, is it?
Not some Taran opera.
Well, then
In
it's
fact,
not good.
In fact, some of it sounds like her voice singing.
Oh.
Dear me.
To be fair, I made a mixtape and I definitely put Suntaran opera on there for you.
And then emerging from the ground, you see the vines begin to grow around each other. And Throllo, you've seen this before. You saw it in the Genesis cave. But you watch as it raises up to its full height of about 8 feet. A figure, a humanoid-like figure, healthier than it was the first time you saw it. And as it rises up, there's very little disturbance from the grass underneath it. It all kind of leans in, and you see this being in front of you.
I drop Ginger like a hot potato, and
Something
I
about this feels very familiar.
reach out my arm to twine branches and link psychically, and everything, all of the...
Hello again. Hello again.
Its hand touches yours, Roko.
How many story points do I need to do just all of the magic?
What do you want to do?
I want to connect to Jenny. I would love to do a conduit thing, if I can do that as well. Because there are, oh my gosh, this is meaningful coming off them in waves.
Don't worry about story points. You feel a flood of emotion. It's like a translation, but Jenny recognizes all of you, all of them. And you hear, "Hello, Mala Ren. Hello, Throlo Shasiros." It's like whispering. The grass, the wind that's blowing through it, it's almost as if it's whispering these words to all of you.
I take my helmet off.
You pull it off immediately.
Hi, Jenny.
You like the name?
I think I do.
This is marvelous. Oh, Finn. Finn, it's a plant friend.
It doesn't really have, it's like a vine, it reaches out. And it says, "Your friends must return now."
Wait, who are these people?
They're Time Lords.
Hello, thank you. Yes, we'll be out of your leaves in one moment. This seems terribly nice. Is Rocco okay?
I bet this is the best Rocco's been in a while.
This is a whiplash from the Borg to Jenny.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what this is like a spa day for my brain.
Does it good? Yeah, this is a lovely planet and a lot of my favorite people, and fingers crossed we're taking them all with us when we go.
What now, Doctor?
It's like over Collie when we were really, really, really young. Oh, you have lovely plants here. You two have lovely plants.
I'm sorry, we've got to go.
This is the first time. Wait, this is the first time Mala looks back at you.
Out of your leaves! I just got it!
Oh, I missed you so much.
Well,
I don't ever want to leave.
Mala sort of finally sizes the lizard plant creature next to them.
Hello, psychic friend.
Well, I'm.
There you are. Oh, you're brilliant. You're both kind of brilliant. Oh,
Are you?
really likes you.
How do you know that?
Like this. You can do it. You're a bit afraid of it, but you can do it.
No.
And how more naturally than with her?
And you hear, again, the whispers, the wind blowing through the grasses and whatnot seems to formulate words. The leaves rustling in the wind. It's like the plant moves to the wind enough to be able to find and vocalize using snapping sounds and whispering hush tones. And you hear, "I left a part of myself in the doctor," and points to Throlo. "And you left a part of yourself in me." And you see Ginny reaches into what looks like sort of like a leaf sleeve, so to speak, and pulls out the device you left that's playing the music.
If I had more time, I would have gotten you something new to listen to.
I had plenty to keep me busy. I did what you said. I kept being exactly what I was. I explored. I remained curious.
I think I like this world.
Definitely an overcall. I can tell.
You all ready?
oh yes, being alive is rather good, isn't it?
Doctor, you think you have room for one more for a little bit?
Oh, as if I would let you out of my sight.
You owe me a drink.
We'll talk.
No, Rocco.
Old friend?
I'm probably just now coming out with the device finished.
Okay.
This should do you. Everything I put in will probably burn up first time you use it, give or take.
Thank you.
Oh, I should do the trick.
I should say, he just check it carefully once it's. I think it will do what he says it will do, but it might do other things.
I'd take it and I'll check it.
Right.
Keep the dress.
Thanks.
Right? We can always replicate you in a new uniform.
And I can just say one thing to him really quick.
Sorry if I wasn't a very good companion. I didn't really know what the credentials were.
You were the exact correct credentials. You kept everybody safe. You brought us around. And I think I have to try cream soda now. Is that a thing?
Mixes good with rum.
That's exciting.
All right, maybe just a tiny bit. Right.
All right.
All right, we have to go. Sort of mull on through it. Spend some time getting acquainted with your child.
We get to stay? Okay. It sounds like we don't have much choice, actually.
Okay. Fine by me.
It was nice to meet you. What was your name?
Just the doctor.
Oh, doctor. Doctor.
And good luck to you two.
All right,
Hope you find what you're looking for.
And the doctor,
Stepping back into the TARDIS.
there is ever a time that perhaps a Vulcan could explore the universe with you. I'm sure you would know when to find me.
Vulcan, want to add that one to the library?
Indeed.
Until next time.
And one by one, your strange visitors filter back into the blue box, leaving you with this communication device. The four of you.
Goodbye, plant person. Time for us to leave.
That's quite good.
I've been working on it for some time. Perhaps I will explain the joke to you as we progress back into the library.
And that is the last thing you hear is the door of the TARDIS slams close. And there's a pulse as the TARDIS begins to boot up. And indeed, the proximity of Ginny and the connection to Ovocall and the other universe actually links the two realities, and a bridge forms in the vortex. The TARDIS struggles for a second, but you watch it go. And the strange visitors from this other reality fade back to where they belong, united once again. And the rest of you turn slowly and look up at the life form that has had such an impact on the USS Sally Ride. And the communication device immediately starts to blink that it's activated and found a connection to Narendra Station. And we have to stop there.
I was sure you were going to be like, you get to the other side and all your people are gone.
No, we ran up against it big time on this one. Darren, thank you so much for jumping in. Dude, came running from a VO session straight here just for the last few minutes, sacrificed his evening to get here on time and give us a few moments of Velig again. Thank you so much. We have to unfortunately bail pretty quick because we're on the wire. But this has been our Shield of Tomorrow Doctor Who crossover episode. Next week we'll be back to the Star Trek universe and trying to link it all together. Guys, thank you so much, and thank you so much for your donations that made this episode possible. We hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, stay whimsical, and hailing frequencies are closed.